Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Does anyone know of anyone who's still on the way? Because in about 20 minutes, it'll be too late. I'll tell you why. In about 20 minutes, when we're going to go into the outside the taxi zone, we're going to take the altitude. They're not going to get anything I'm going to say. It'll be a little too much. फिर वही होगा that Sahil Adeem की बातें समझ नहीं आती. There are two things that I'm going to do. I'm not going to speak Urdu. I'm so sorry. There's a purpose of this tour. I'm going to explain to you the purpose. I'm still going to wait for everyone to come in. Once everyone is in, then we're going to formally begin this. This is a little technical today. Actually, it was not that technical when I came to Australia. It's after Sydney, I decided to make it a little technical. This is a part of a very long, inshallah, very long tour of the world. Our purpose is to make sure, it's a simple one-line purpose, make sure that our kids don't become like us. That's it. And they become like Umar bin Khattab and Ali bin Abi Talib, and most of all Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's our basic attempt. And for that, those kids technically have to get most of what I have to say. Most of my work was in Urdu, obviously, because I started with Pakistan. Actually, I did start with Canada, but I started with Pakistan for a reason. And then I realized after a couple of years that most of what can be done cannot be done from Pakistan. Most of what should be done cannot be done from within Pakistan, but by Pakistanis, inshallah. And most of the overseas Pakistanis have a generally 10 or maybe 15 points higher on the IQ because of whatever reasons. I'm not going to go in that detail. So I have hope from you guys. And most of all, I have hope from Melbourne. No flattery. I've been in Melbourne for 10, 12 days now. I came on the 9th. And I have never been so, well, it's the easiest place that I've ever been in. Mostly because of Saima and Shahrukh, obviously, they're my hosts. And I have my own brother here, Mohsin Ali Khan. He's been with me for the last 20 years. So it's practically a home for me. But the more I've spoken to Pakistanis here, Indians, Muslims, all of them, Lebanese, Somalians, I've realized that the two things that is unique to every country. Australians are since fresh off the coasts of wherever you guys came from. So you have a way better awareness of what's the actual problem. English Muslims generally believe Pakistan udhar hi hai jis sun mein wo chhod ke aaye the. So they have a little bit of a problem in understanding what can be done. Just going to give 5 more minutes before we jump into the big game. Before that, let me just start with you guys. Do you have microphones in the audience? Yeah? You have microphones in the audience? Okay. So, थोड़ा सा ऊंचा बोल लीजिएगा, okay? शुरू में उर्दू बोल सकते हैं हम नहीं? So, before I go into the program, and I'm going to pick up a lot of speed, I'm so sorry, because we do not have enough time. It is supposed to be a 7-day tour for one person, 7 days straight up. I've crashed this into 4 hours. And I'm going to crash this tour into, this session into 2.5 hours so that I can talk to you later on. Okay? So, if whatever you cannot understand, please raise your hand or just be very loud, just ask questions, be very interactive. This is not a university lecture where you have to talk to your classmate or talk about me with your classmate outside. Okay, so let's just begin with a 20-year-old, a girl, 20-year-old girl. Anybody in her 20s? Yes, ma'am. What's your name? Maha. Maha? Why are you here?
Because my mom got me to do it.
Yep. Yeah, you can. Mommy told me to. Did you ask her कि क्यों लेके आ रही हैं? What's going on?
Maybe not necessarily. I just trust her judgment, and she said that this is going to be a good talk. I thought, why not? कोई हर्ज नहीं है.
कहीं और जाना ही था, चले यहाँ आ जाते हैं. You trust her judgment. Okay. Wow, what is a Muslim? Muslim. What is a Muslim? अच्छा मेरी अंग्रेजी में ही मसला होगा ना आप लोगों को तो. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry. I apologize. I cannot do anything about it. It takes more than 12 days to go Aussie. And it took 20 years, and you're not all Aussies yet. You know, most of the Desis do not have that Aussie accent. Good for you. Good on you. Okay. But I'm sorry, I can't. See, Maha, you're born and raised here? It didn't seem like that, okay? So see, a neutral accent. Ji Maha, what is a Muslim?
I think a Muslim is someone who follows the Sunnah, follows the teachings of the Quran, of the Prophet.
That is what a Muslim does. What is a Muslim? Yeah. What does that mean? Ji Maha? It's all right.
I mean, yeah, like, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. See, the difference between you and your mommy is that she actually read into Australia. You know what that means? She raised her hand and she declared to the world what is an Australian. You didn't. That's exactly the difference between us and Sahabas. Sahabas read themselves into Islam, consciously. We were born into Islam. That's why we never read the Constitution. Your mommy did, had to. Actually passed the test, didn't she? You guys have a test right here. She passed the test. She claimed oath into an identity. Okay? So it's easier said than done, of course, but she did say it. Okay? This is under the Queen, right? Australia under the Queen? God save the Queen kind of thing going on? Yeah. So she did say it. So it's a conscious choice to become an Australian. You can't just, not know what an Australian is. Okay? Because there's a system around Australia that is going to remind you of it. Okay? And you're so used to it that you yourself have become a reminder to anyone who's not an Australian. Mohsin here, Tayyib, my little brother here, they keep telling me to wear my seatbelt when I sit in the car. I just came from Pakistan. It's okay. It's a Pakistani identity sort of a thing. We don't wear a seatbelt. Okay? And then they gave me his car and it's like, Mohsin was like, Sahil bhai, गाड़ी लेफ्ट पे चलानी है मगर उसूल सारे पूरे करने. And I said, yeah, I will, which I didn't, but I told him that I will because I know the rules. It's just that I am so used to a totally different kind of driving that it took me about 20 minutes, even though the Google map said 9, because I was so conscious of Australia. I was so conscious that I have driven, I think 10 years more than Mohsin in my life. I think he's 10 years or more younger than me. But I was so conscious that I don't want to break any rule. And I don't break any rules in Pakistan because there are no rules in Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've ever gotten a ticket in Pakistan. You know why? There is no ticketing system in Pakistan. I mean, there is, but nobody follows it. Okay? So I'm just getting you a little sense of what a Muslim is. Make sure you don't forget that, okay? And we're waiting up on everybody to come in so that I can actually literally explain to you what Allah Azza wa Jal says what a Muslim is. See, now my contention is simple. We have been primed out of Islam, and I'll prove it to you, and then I'm going to give you a task. There's going to be a follow-up of this session online, inshallah. And we're all going to connect. I'm going to pick 10 volunteers, maybe more, maybe a little more, so that they can connect you all with the rest of the world through this tour. We're going to give children certain tasks, adults different tasks, to develop their knowledge and connect with each other. 4 different pillars. We have a solution. We have a proposed solution. We're going to keep improving it, inshallah, but this is a solution that came straight from the Seerah. The problem is that this is the first time you're going to listen to this solution. That's the bigger problem. This solution should have been with Maha's and Fatima's 10 years ago. While they were in school, while they were in their middle school, they should have had this solution. And people have this solution. I'll show it to you right now, literally. This was such a long presentation I made last night. I cut it down to what, 70-80% off. I shaved it off, and because you know what, I just got a call from Saima, and she said, "You're going to have to evacuate after 8 o'clock or 8:15 or something." And I said, no, push it till 10 or 9. Don't worry, they're not going to go anywhere. And even if 10 people are remaining and even if 1% is remaining, I can still get I need to get this in. See, the problem I had in Canberra and Sydney was that time was the only problem. And I don't want you to actually not take all of it and still have that sort of, what's that word, thirst, and convert that into confusion. So make sure you ask questions while I am going through the presentation, okay? Okay? And mothers, ammi, bachcha agar ro raha ho, koi baat nahi. Do not stress out. I love it when Muslim gatherings have their little toddlers in there. This is a Pakistani curse that we've kicked out or banned our little toddlers out of masjids. That's why adults don't end up in masjids. Okay? Make sure. There's another curse that we start clapping to tell the man that you're the man. No one is the man. Okay? That's the problem. Don't worry, that's a deeper problem. Today is not that topic of why we shouldn't clap. Today we're going to bad time. Gee, 20-year-old boy. Anybody? From the end, so that sabko awaaz aa jaye. Yes, sir, what's your name? The last row. Saifullah. Any Indians in the house? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, plenty of Indians in the house. Okay, that's awesome. Ji Saifullah. Any non-Muslims in the house? 1. Well, welcome. Yes, Saifullah. Okay. In Pakistan, we call it Bangladesh. Yeah. I know what you were thinking. Ji Saifullah. So, what's a Muslim? What is a Muslim? A slave of Allah. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, why don't you just be a little louder? Okay. Oh, okay, we have microphones now? Okay. Okay, tell me something, an easier question, okay? Because I know it's a little hard, because no one ever asked you this question. What is a Muslim? Okay, and everyone has a different answer. I'll tell you, there's a reason. There's a proper 160 to be exact, years of constant hammering of philosophy. That's why any Muslim that you're going to pick up is going to have 20 seconds of thinking before answering the most simple question. What is a Muslim? Everyone will have relatively different answers. Sometimes even opposing answers, okay? Sometimes even opposing answers. If you only knew the answers of what is a Muslim, I promise you, I guarantee you, Gaza would not have been going through what it's going through right now. If only we were all told this simple question when we were 10, 8, 12. So, Safullah, what is the problem Gaza is going through? Anybody else? What is the problem Gaza is going through? Occupation, okay. From here? Anybody? A girl? Oppression. Gaza is going through oppression, occupation, injustice, genocide, good word, big word, genocide, the G. Yes. Ethnic cleansing. Gaza, ethnic cleansing. You know, whenever I hear Gaza and ethnic cleansing, I think that YouTube has way more effect on us than our own books and parents. Gaza is not an ethnicity. You need to understand that. You know, you see, it's Benjamin Netanyahu who says, Jews and Arabs. It's not Jews and Arabs. It's Jews and Muslims. It's Polish or Arabs. It's German or Arabs. But it's not Jews and Arabs. We're so used to listening to this and we start saying Jews and Arabs are at fight. Jews and Arabs are not at fight. Jews is a totally different word. Arab does not, it's not that same data type, is it? What's the similar data type? The same data type of Jews? Muslims, yes. Jews and Muslims, not Jews and Arabs. So ethnic cleansing actually is one of those words that's going to confuse you more. So genocide, okay, what else? Apartheid. Okay, apartheid. Big words. इतनी अंग्रेजी नहीं आती मुझे. Apartheid, like the South African apartheid. Okay, yes. Masjid. So if they did not have Masjid Aqsa, they would not have gone through that problem? Okay, let me break a little news to you. The third temple is not going to be on Masjid Aqsa. Okay? It's about 300 meters southeast of Masjid Aqsa, or actually the Temple Mount. It is going to be in the, follow Alam of course, in the city of David. Okay? Read, and you'll find out. Masjid Aqsa is not what they want. Yes, anyone else?
Wasn't this inevitable anyway?
Yeah. So what caused the inevitability to happen in our time? That's what I'm asking. It is.
It's ignorance of Muslim plurals. They don't want to take part in this.
Yeah.
Or we can say it's a siege, same like which happened 900 years ago in Constantinople, which Sultan Muhammad Fateh did. So it's the same siege.
1400 years. Umar al-Khattab did this.
900 years.
No, go back, 6 more. 6 more? Umar al-Khattab. He signed the original treaty. No, that was Prophet ﷺ. Umar al-Khattab signed up the final document was signed up by Umar al-Khattab himself. Okay. Of course, that's the political side of it. The religious side is from Khaybar. Yeah, you're right. Somebody said Khaybar, yeah. That's why they're saying Khaybar was your last chance. Their kids are saying that on the street. You know that, right? Khaybar was your last chance. What do you know? What happened to Khaybar? Not my topic, so I'm not going to go in detail. So what is the problem Gaza is going through? Not genocide, no. No occupation, no nothing. Wrong answers. Extremism. There could be a solution, not a problem. Yes? The Jews are trying to claim their land. If any Jew says that to you next time, tell them, you know what, you want to go back to your original land, we can send it to you. Send you to that. That would be Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you do whatever you were doing in Egypt? We still have that Egypt. We still have the pyramids though. That's your original land. But no. No. Yes. Gaza is suffering from you and me. The cancer Gaza is suffering from is called Sahil Adeem. You need to understand, I am the problem Palestinians are going through, not Netanyahu. He is actually a very well-established man in all those 4 pillars that Allah Azza wa Jal told any and every human being to establish. Of course, for a totally different book, but he is doing every single thing. It is I who is not doing it, Maha. I'll tell you what those 4 pillars are. That's what the Prophet ﷺ did. And I'll tell you how to do that, but I can't just, break it to you like this, otherwise you're going to go through cognitive dissonance. Okay? Let me just, because I think most of everybody's here, so let me just go through. I purposely went through Gaza because I've been talking about Gaza as a symptom of our core disease for the last 5 years, and people couldn't really feel it. And now that Gaza is on fire, people are literally, human beings are literally carrying their kids in shopping bags, coming back home. And we're still not feeling the difference between the real meaning of what a Muslim is. Then we have to really start shaking up, waking each other up. Gaza is not going to go through, inshallah, whatever is going through right now, but this has to stay with you so that there is no more Gaza in Australia, Pakistan, Russia, England, America, Brazil, wherever. You need to understand this problem is me. I can't say problem is us, because I have to start with myself. Me and my son Shafi'i, or my daughter Hijab. You need to understand, I need to start understanding where the problem is, and I'll tell you, and I'm going to open my own self in front of you, and I'm going to show you where the problem starts, and how it starts, and how to fix it. I know one thing all of us have in common, one thing all of us have in common, is the fact that we feel like we have zero self-esteem right now. All of us have that. I hope all of us have that. As soon as whatever Israel did on the 9th or 10th of this month, all of us, knowing and seeing all of this, whatever's going on, are going through a lack of self-esteem right now. Because we cannot do anything about it, and our blood is boiling, not for the fact that Israel is doing whatever it's doing, it's because I cannot do anything that I need to do. We need to find out a solution, otherwise we will have no self-esteem, and our kids cannot afford to have fathers with zero self-esteem or mothers with no self-esteem or belief. You know what happens to a child whose parents have zero self-belief or self-confidence, self-esteem? You know what happens to that child? I'll show you. I'll literally show you, it's like a part of my slide deck on that. Most of Muslims are growing into that sort of a model. That's why our kids go through the problems that they're going through. Okay? And I'm not talking about false confidence of money. Money does not get you self-esteem. I mean, it's common sense. I'm not going to, put a Muslim spin on it. Even non-Muslims know that. Money does not get you self-esteem. Self-esteem is a totally different concept. So, where am I? Here am I. Okay, let's start with where Allah Azza wa Jal starts with, right? Let's just start with that. And I'm going to break some serious news to you during the middle of a session, which you are going to seriously get mad at me for. Some of you are going to walk out. I know that in advance. Canberra went through this. Islamabad went through this. Karachi goes through this. Because we just somehow have to have a lot more guts to even understand what Islam is. And I'm not going to say anything against anybody, don't worry. I don't name names, because that's against the psychology of human beings. But you will see names, faces in front of you, and I'm going to talk to you about whatever went wrong. You will know who did this to you, or to me, to us, to the Palestinians. You will see them, because we all are under some sort of a spell of somebody who casted that spell in the name of Islam. Literally was quoting ayahs and ahadith in front of us. Everybody's different people, so I'm not going to just start, pinning blames on somebody in particular. But here is what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying. So anybody who can tell me what it actually means. By the way, that's a picture of a black hole, where, the whole universe is part of that universe. It's spinning into it, right? Anybody? Let me just go through a slide, because this slide is not showing the whole translation. How do I do that? This is it?
No, it's on the other screen. You drag it on the other screen.
Oh.
PowerPoint.
Okay, it's showing. Hold on, let me just go through this. Here. Can you do that? Thank you. Here you go. Yeah, this is the translation. The laptop is not accustomed to this sort of power. Yes. Now, Allah Azza wa Jal does this a lot in the Quran. He starts talking about the man, or us, human beings, and look within yourself, he says. Have you not looked into your own self? And all of a sudden, Allah Azza wa Jal zooms out, literally, zooms out into the universe. Okay, he does that a lot. So understand there's a big correlation here. Like literally, we are a unit of this universe. However, no philosophy. I'm going to literally give you what is the seerah's angle towards it, the angle of the Prophet ﷺ, okay? So, Allah Ta'ala in Allah Azza wa Jalla says, do not they reflect on themselves? Don't you think? Literally, don't you use your brain? Yatafakkar. Yatafakkar means ponder. Use your brain. Have you not used your brain on yourselves? Like, look what's going on inside you. What does that mean? Biology? Does that mean medical science? Does that mean neurology? What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. What is the meaning that regular Muslims take right now? From the masjid, directly from the madrasa. Anybody from the hall. Well, what kind of science? See, this is not news to you. This is the Quran. I'm not talking about, somebody came up with some theory. This is the Quran. We all have read this. Yatafakkar fi anfusihim. Fi anfusihim. Yes. Yeah, what does that mean? No, in this, see, Allah Ta'ala says, fi anfusihim. Fi anfusihim. Do they not look into their own selves? Okay? Yeah, human body. What does that mean? See, यही सवाल तो पाकिस्तानी मुसलमान पूछ नहीं रहा अपने आलिम से. What does that mean? Allah Ta'ala क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं अंदर? मैं अंदर कैसे देखूं? Yeah, I'll tell you what it means, because Allah Ta'ala has given you the meaning right there. And then look up and you'll see the same thing going on. Yeah, Allah uses the word haqq, the purpose, right there in this ayah, okay? Yes. So how did you come up with that?
Because it's telling about the bigger picture, that everything is being done through a system.
Yes. It literally means that you're being made on a system. There's a system that's working right there. Read the system. And the same system is going to be visible to you everywhere you see, literally. I'll show you. Let me just show you. Okay? And then Allah says, it's not just saying, just read it. And then Allah says, can't you see the purpose? Forget Plato and Socrates and, whatever philosopher, Nietzsche and, Hume and Descartes. Allah is saying, you want to see the purpose? The $1 million question that every human being is pondering upon for the last thousands and thousands of years. Allah says, you want to see it? Okay, look into yourself and then look into the skies. You'll see the purpose. And also, you'll see how all of it is going to end. Ajalam musamma. Okay, appointed time. So the purpose is right there. How do I see the purpose here? That's the problem that I need you to solve for our little Mahas and our little Fatimas, little Alis and little Muhammads sitting in our homes. Okay, it is very interesting. The problem is, do not use any sort of metaphors, do not use any sort of big philosophies, rocket sciences. Just give it to them straight. Look how your body is working on a system. I'll tell you what the system is, don't worry. But you all know by now that there is a certain system. Otherwise, there would be no medical science, because we know the system now. Okay? So, do they not reflect on themselves? Allah creates the heaven and the earth, whatever lies between them. Whatever lies between them. Okay? مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. Nothing but with the purpose. إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. Nothing but with a purpose. And for an appointed time. Now, I have studied under many philosophers of Islam and scholars of Islam. Whenever I used to ask them, what Allah says in Surah Safat, this is Surah Rum, in Surah Safat Allah says, I'm going to show you within yourself, fi anfusikum, wa fit samawat, in you, and I'm going to show you that Quran is the haqq. And I used to ask all of my teachers, how is it showing me the Quran is the haqq? How? So I got different Arabian, because my teachers were Arabian answers, and in Pakistan I got the Pakistani versions of answers. The Pakistanis actually do a certain thing. They spin everything around philosophy. The Arabians cut to the chase, they give it to you straight. This brother who was just reciting the surah here, Surah Azab. Who was Zen? Where's Zen? The guy who did the Qiraat. Oh yeah, he's one of the, okay. So what did he say? Ya ayyuhallazina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. That's what he read, right? That if you're not going to just give me straight, give it to them. If you are not afraid of anything else, you don't have the fear of people or what they're going to think, then you're just going to tell them what you're feeling, what you're saying. You can give it straight. But if you're afraid of people, of what they're going to think, or you're trying to prove something to people, then you cannot talk straight to people. Then you'll have to please them. You'll have to please all and everybody who you're going to talk to. That's the anti of Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. If you're only afraid of Allah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha ittaqullah. If only Allah is inside your fear center, then you cannot have anybody else. Cannot. And the problem with Pakistani culture is, we cannot talk straight. We're trained not to talk straight. But तमीज़ी होती है. So, it's a problem. क्या करूं? पहले तारीफ किया करो, फिर सीधी बात, फिर तारीफ एकदम. वरना नाक कट जाएगी. किसकी? अम्मी की. किसके आगे? पुप्पो के आगे. If you train into this, this is why Tariq Jameel Saab cannot say to Imran Khan or Taqi Usmani Saab cannot say to Nawaz Sharif or Imran Khan or Musharraf that, dude, you're off. You're way off. You're literally stepping into hell. You're in that sort of a risk matrix. You're the decision maker of 300 million people, actually 2 billion people worth of decision. Because you're from Pakistan, we cannot say that. That's the difference with Sahaba psychology, Pakistani psychology. Indian psychology, same thing. Pakistani didn't invent it, the Indians gave it to us. We didn't take anything from India except the psychology. The Sahabi goes into the Persians have had this for millions of years. Before the dinosaurs, Persians were the way they are right now. So when the first Sahabi came into Persia, and he was there to deliver a message because Muslims were at the boundary, and he had this little spear in his hand. He was an old man walking with spear. He had broken sandals, and he was walking on that $1 billion carpet because he was in the presence of their Lord, Zartasht. And the whole protocol was standing there, the whole their king, and everybody was looking at this Sahabi. It was like, what is he doing? He's literally poking holes in the $1 billion carpet. And this guy just runs to the Sahabi and he says, listen, sir, I don't know where you're from, but look what you're doing, man. You are about to enter the presence of our Lord, our God. That's what they have this word Khuda in there, right? Khuda, हमने भी लिया ना वो लफ्ज़ खुदा, ठीक है? अल्लाह को खुदा कहते हैं ना. तू मेरे खुदा के सामने जाने वाला है. Literally he said that. तू क्या कर रहा है? And Sahabi says, अपने खुदा से कह कि उसके खुदा की तरफ से आया हूं. Tell your Lord that I am representing his Lord. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Yuslih lakum a'malakum. So that you will be granted, you can encash all your deeds. Otherwise, sorry, everything is wasted. That's what Allah is saying in Surah Azab. So, what I'm saying is, I want to give it to you straight. Here it is. This is not working. Now, I'm not going to show you, Allah has shown you the bridge between the samawat and fi anfusikum. Just click on the maximize. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. I'm going to go through this later, don't worry. This is it. This is Andromeda, okay? This is the biggest thing we can see on our naked eye, okay, through our naked eye. I didn't use a telescope, okay, because you can see Andromeda from the naked eye. Sahaba used to see Andromeda, Egyptians used to see Andromeda, Sumerians used to see Andromeda. They knew, okay, this is something else. So I'm showing you Andromeda. This is the unit of the universe. Every galaxy looks like this, so don't worry. What is the galaxy representing? It represents simple thing, a system. System of what? Everything coming about, okay, attracted by, giving energy to and taking energy from. That's the system, a single center, okay? This is where we live in. Same thing, tiny little, a millionth of that part, okay? This is big, this is small. Of course, this is us. And this is, what is this? Do you know what this is? Yeah, this is the smallest thing that you can possibly fathom. That's the biggest thing that we can possibly fathom. And this is the smallest thing that we can possibly fathom. What's the similarity? It's the same system. It is literally the same mechanism going on. Single center, everybody has to congregate around that center in a orderly manner. Okay? This is what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying. You cannot see that? Let me show it to you. Okay? This is the electron, right? These are the electrons around the orbit. Allah is saying, you cannot see Andromeda? Okay, you cannot see the electron? Okay, let me show it to you. This is it. You cannot see that there? You cannot see that here? Okay, let me show it to you right here. This is the insignia. You know that Apple laptop has Apple on it? Every human being has this. First ever human being sent to earth, literally sent to earth. Not made in earth, sent to earth. Allah says, go down to Adam alayhi salam. Sent to earth. And do what? Make this first. You see this? You see this here now? You see this? See the Kaaba in this? You see the Kaaba now? Do you see the Kaaba here? I see the Kaaba here. Oh yeah, we all see this. This is it. This is what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying. This was there to begin with. This is the sign. This is the purpose I'm showing you. But we didn't ever read into it. What do you think? It was like a design Allah Ta'ala changed? No. Because Jews do believe that. You know, we believed in the triangle. You believe in the cube. That's what the rabbis tell me. Oh yeah, you know, from cube to triangle to cube. That was the Hajj, the 10 Hajj that Musa alayhi salam did. No, it's not. Because if it were the case, this would not have been made by Adam alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is way before Moses. So Moses cannot come up with the triangle alayhi salam. Allah does not change the sunnah. It is a way bigger purpose here. This is what we all see. Here, we see it here, we see it here, we see it here, we see it right here. Now the problem is we did have that here till 1924. We had it. We had it right here. And then when we lost it, we didn't know what we were losing because people were not telling us this is the biggest asset that we have. We take this out. Abu Hanifa says, Adamul Khilafa Ummul Khabais. If you take this out, every woman will give birth to a disease. Every man will harbor a disease. That disease is going to inflict an individual and the group. And that is what Gaza is suffering from. We just broke the center. We broke the center of the universe. Like literally the universe. No metaphors. No puns intended. No analogy. We broke the center of the universe. Now there's a solution, don't worry. But let's just understand the problem. So, whatever ayah I'm going to put in front of you, okay? This was the original order. When you understand this, you're going to understand every ayah of the Quran so simply. So simply. It'll all come together as missing pieces of the puzzle and you'll be like, oh, this was it all the time? Yeah. This was it all the time. That's how simple it is. That's going to help you and your kids understand Seerah like Ali bin Abi Talib. You're going to understand Seerah like Umar al-Khattab. Right now, how do we understand Seerah? We don't even know what Seerah is. And most of us, when we go to Seerah, you know what the cognitive dissonance is? Most of the people, when they explain Seerah, you know what they do? I'm not going to use names, you'll know them. What they do is 116 episodes of Seerah. Some parts are missing. Cannot explain certain parts, sir. I live in Canada, you see. I live in America. I cannot explain to you. Okay, that's the political side of it. So why can't you explain other parts? Oh, well, I don't know how to connect this part with the other part because the coherence is missing. We do not know why Allah Azza wa Jal chose certain parts of the planet for certain prophets. We do not know why Prophet ﷺ chose certain actions prior to other actions. We cannot understand, we cannot make sense of it unless we understand the original order. And I'll tell you who's actually, I'll literally tell you, I'm going to show you with numbers how the original world order is being presented to us. People are living up to it. They're really practicing it. They're not there yet, but then you'll be able to forecast their next step as well. As Muslims, you'll be able to do so much. I only read the calendar once, Torah twice. Talmud couldn't really go through all of it because the rabbinic and the Babylonian philosophies clash a lot. I have to spend about 10 years, I guess 10 years under a rabbi to understand what's the deal with Talmud. 147,000 verses, 600 orders of Talmud. I just can't get my head around this. Short of time, nothing else. Of course, people have. I can too. Anybody can. I didn't even want to because I got the sense of what Torah and the Tanakh, the whole, the Chituim and the Navim, they're all talking about. What's going to happen in the next event? When is the Passover? What happened on the Passover in Israel? Why is the blood moon literally the blood moon over Israel every single time? What do you think? They put the blood moon there? No, Allah does. There's so much going on there. It's not just interesting, it's relevant to you, to my kids, your kids. That's what I'm saying. When we know how to read all of this, then you'll understand the practicality, the utility of everything. Right now, we're like, little wandering human beings who have little Allah lockets in their necks, do not really know where the next step is. And if anybody asks, like, you know what, I'm a Muslim, brother, when was the last time you prayed? Let's go have a Jama'ah. That's it. That's my Islam. 5 times a day, 10 minutes of absolute work focus, girl focus, money focus, whatever wish focus. That's what we go for prayer. That's why we go to masjids. Allahu Akbar, I want this and I want this and I want this. Yallah, you know what I want this. Most of the people who focus about prayers are focused on this, mostly women. Otherwise men, my boss was saying this, I don't know why he was saying this. This is my regular prayer. Like, who are we kidding? We all know this. Nissan raised its rate, interest rates going this and there. Why did she say that to me today? Everybody, it's not just you, everybody. Namaz ka matlab kya? One time, Imam Malik got this guy, and he said, I put a lot of gold in some part of my land, and I got a lot of land, and I've dug up everywhere. I just can't find it. Imam Malik. And he says, where are you from? And he says, I'm from Basra. It's like, okay, that's far enough. That's far enough. Why don't you pray 2 nafal? Okay? Right here. But you have to pray right here. He pointed at some random land. And then we talk. I said, okay. Koi peer lagta hai, nahi? So he stands at a place and he prays 2 nafal. And then he says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and says, Ya Sheikh, how did you do that? I know where I hit it. And I'm like, yeah, everybody does, man. Because we never think about Allah. We just think about whatever's worrying us. You could have prayed this way before and you would have found your gold. That's what we're going through. This is our prayer. And you know what our song, our roza is, right? You know how we're fasting. But it's okay, at least we're fasting, right? But we're not doing certain things, and there's a problem behind this. Somebody told us out of Islam. Somebody talked us out of Islam. Somebody certified us as Muslims, even though there was not Islam. That's why Mahas and Alis, Fatimas are going to be thinking that we're Muslims, and no Muslim is going to benefit from their Islam, especially them. Because Muslim was an identity. Muslim was a verb. Being Muslim cannot be a title of an individual. Cannot be. I'll show you. I show you right here. You're not going to translate this symbol, right? I'll show you how Allah Azza wa Jal says that in the Quran. And then I'll show you how human beings have literally lived up to this identity regardless of whether they're Muslims or not. Okay? First, let's go through the split. How did we go through the split? How did we miss out on this? Where is the migration from this single-center philosophy to multi-center philosophies? How did this happen? Anybody? Different forms of what? Thinking. Yes, that's how it starts. But thinking is, yes? Interruption. Like force, Newton's force, go on.
We have our own agendas.
Everybody, that's amazing. What's your name, sir? Imran. Imran says we all have, he thinks we have our own. Every human being has his own agenda. That's the beauty of this planet. 7 billion people, 7 billion different tracks of their lives. We have their own agenda. All of us. You're not going to have my problem, I'm not going to have yours. Hence, counselors, hence wise old men who have a little vision of many situations and they can actually put two and two together. So if everybody's got his own agenda, everybody's got his own track, there has to be a singular philosophy, ideology, methodology, framework, so that everybody can come together and benefit each other. That was what Islam is. That's it. That's every philosophy's job. Okay? And every prophet came in and says, you know what, you want to play on your own? Every man for himself, you want to do that? Look what's going on. So everybody for himself is called the Wild Wild West. It's the jungle. Okay, you want to make your own rules and your own policies, then you're going to actually step on somebody else's toes. And then who's going to decide who's right or who's wrong? Someone's going to put a law and order, some process and rule, and everyone's got to abide by it. Where does that come from? That comes from common sense, empathy. I cannot like to do something to you which I cannot like for you to do unto me. Basic rule of empathy. That's what's basic. Everybody knew this. So, what happened? What happened was, to us Muslims, in 1920s, before the 1920s, of course, we had the worst possible governance in the 1900s and 1920s. But till 1920s, we had a singular system going on, which is called the political system, the governance. Okay. Muslims were known for that system. We could relate to it, even though Pakistanis couldn't, but we were still for it. Okay? It was being run from Turkey. We were all for it. We knew what it's, there's a certain Muslim empire somewhere. There's a certain law and certain regulation. Okay. Now, after that split, everybody had to live by the rules of Sir Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill drew some lines on the map in his own backyard, literally, and said, hold on. Just give this to the Arabs, give this to the Turks, give this to the Kurds, give this to the Egyptians, give this to the Indians, and so on and so forth. And now all of us are in different governance political systems. So Winston Churchill did all of this. But of course, he didn't think through of what he was doing, good or bad. That's our job. That was our job to understand the problem that's going to cause my kids. But something else happened. The break of Khilafah didn't really cause this problem. The problem came in because there was this certain drug that we all started taking. And every one of us, every single one of us, decided that this is what Islam is. This is what the purpose is. And you know what that purpose is right now? That was told to you and me by my scholars, your scholars, everybody. You know what they tell us? They tell us that Islam is to be a good human being, Maha. Heard that before? Good human being. Single person, good human being. Single girl, single boy, man, good father, good mother. And they put all of those ayahs and all of those ahadiths together, because there are so many for individuals, And they say, you know what, see, the Prophet ﷺ says that, see, Allah Azza wa Jal says that, see, and all of a sudden, you and I detach ourselves. And we go further and further, like the Brownian motion, we're just wandering, and every man for his wife and kids only. I am such an amazing Muslim that my mom can vouch for it. Such an awesome, awesome man that my wife will tell you. Okay? Even though common sense brews in me, and every day I think, oh no, what? My wife thinks that I'm an amazing Muslim, but Palestinians think I'm not. That's common sense. Because if Pakistanis were going through what Palestinians were going through, I would have blamed the Sudanese and the Somalians and the Arabs and the Indonesians as well. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? Just watching? Or you were just protesting placards? Do you think that's going to save my daughter? Your placard in Jakarta is not going to save my daughter. So that was common sense. That's not rocket science. But you know what? We actually believe that our job is to just pray. Because that's it's good Samaritans. That's it. We're done. That's the pinnacle of human beings, of current version of Islam. So, whenever you're going to hear a Muslim cleric, ever, in Australia to Miami, to Florida, to California, that's the other end, right? To Alaska. Any Muslim. And you ask him, I know that you want me to be a good person, but tell me what is the purpose of Islam? And he will literally tell you, do not come up with something new. Do not come up with something new. Such a basic question, and no one's going to be able to answer this. What is the purpose of Islam? Like, I know what the purpose of a Muslim is. What is the purpose of Islam? Have you never thought about this question? I mean, the most important question. What is, okay, Islam? Islam is from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay, what is the purpose? What do you want us to do? No, there is no us. We just want to be, connected to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Single man, like, those data points. Single man, 7 billion people, 7 billion lines going to Allah Azza wa Jalla. That is what the current manifestation of Islamic philosophies. We call it the current understanding of Islam, or the current definition. So that split us not into from one center to, you know how many? 7 billion centers. And that's not something that Muslims came up with. Every human being did this. Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Quran says, there's a word for it. The biggest sin, not just any word. What is the biggest sin in Islam? Shirk is for the individual. Okay? Shirk is for the individual. That's the biggest thing you could possibly do. Why? Because human beings can think. The worst thing you can do in Islam is taghut. And most 99% of Pakistan, I'll take a sample right now. Like 600 people sitting here. Who knows what taghut actually means? Listen to me. This is the most important thing. It's my akhirah, your akhirah dependent on it. The biggest sin in Islam is taghut. Why have we not heard this word before? Taghut. With a toy, alif, ghain, wow, taghut. How can other powers be my sin? No. Oh, it's all right. See, it's okay. The sample is from the population. I came from Pakistan. Nobody knows about this. Simple. It's a very simple. If it were complicated, it wouldn't be such a big sin. It would have been only for philosophers. Taghut is simple. Man who makes his own policies. That's taghut. Simple. You make your own policy now? Okay, you calling yourself God? Yeah. That's not shirk. Shirk is to be obedient to some gods. Taghut is not obedient to any God. I am God. I'll tell you the translation. I've got the best translation of Taghut in Toronto. Actually, came from America. You know the finest translation of Taghut is? The American Dream. Think about it. What is the American Dream? Why did you come to Australia? Should be my first question, eh? Why did you come to Australia? What were you thinking? Oh, I was thinking Taghut, sir. Of course, not the word, but I was thinking, hey, whoa, liberty, freedom, my own way. Say what? No, American dream is not the better way of living. No. You guys don't know what the American dream is? Total independence of whatever I want to do. No holds barred. Yes, sir? Yeah, I make my own way. Bon Jovi. I make my own roads. Okay? Now, this is the problem. In philosophy, it is registered as a disease, but nobody takes philosophers seriously. So psychology, they treat it with a pill, a medicine. There is a medicine for it in psychology. Literally, I'm not kidding. There is a medicine for it in psychology. You go to a clinician, and he's going to be like, oh, that's what you're going through? Okay, here you go. Take it 3 times, start with 2.5 milligram, go up to 6 milligrams, and then come after about 3 to 6 months. That is what they're going to tell you, because they call it the cognitive dissonance. They call it the shadow of a self-belief. They call it low self-esteem. That's what your kids, my kids are going to go through, are going through. I just met a child in Sweden, well, he's 18 now. He's 18 now. Hafiz the Quran. Comes from the most strict khala in the world. Khala took care of him. This one? Yes. How old is your daughter? It means colors, orange. She's 5. Why are you worried about that? I thought you have a question. For a 5-year-old, if you put that philosophy in a 5-year-old, that will be a totally different disease on my part. You see what I'm saying? That one thing Pakistanis are doing is, we are putting, you're not doing that, okay? But we do. I was given the concept of hell when I was 5. Concept of hell to a 5-year-old child, you know what that's going to do? Think about it. Yeah, he's going to run away from whoever gave it to him or her. Do not teach hell to a child. He does not need to know hell. God forbid he dies, he's not going to go to hell. You know that, right? Hell, the concept of hell starts from 7-ish, 8-ish, 9-ish. Depending on if there is no hell inside the house already. Okay? With most houses, hell. So, what is cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance is simple. This is our mental state of order. Now, you pick out 10 people, 10 Pakistanis, 10 Australians, 10 whatever, right now, and you will not be able to tell the difference between the psychology or the philosophy, because they didn't claim that they have a single center. We always claim that we have. Okay? Ek Allah, ek Rasool, ek Quran, bahut achhi shairi. We do not have that. I'll tell you why we don't have that. Because in psychology, we've developed a very good centripetal force around a center, which is very common between you and me, but that is not Islam. That is not Islamic. And we are very good Muslims running around that center. Whatever, could be money, cars, women, could be any success, job, status quo, could be anything. We're doing it really well. That is the American dream. That is the Australian dream. That is the Pakistani dream too. Who are we kidding? So our mental state and disorder goes through this sort of a problem. Now, this is what we go through. You and I have been taught this, okay? I'll tell you why we've been taught this. Here you go. Islam has a lot of values, a lot of sets of behaviors, and a lot of rituals. We have rituals in Islam. Give me 2 rituals. Prayer and fasting, yeah, okay. What are 2 definite behaviors of Islam? Behaviors. Come on, behaviors. How am I supposed to behave? Okay. Akhlaq, yeah, mannerism, yes, okay, good manners. What else? Okay. And what kind of values do we have? Integrity, yes. Yeah, integrity. What else? Empathy. We have empathy. We have justice. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah. Now tell me, what does that have to do with Islam? Mother Teresa had it really well. Jews do it. Awesome. They fast. They pray. What does that got to do with us versus the other identities? Where is the difference between a Muslim and a Jew here? Don't they fast? Don't they go for, prayers every day? Are they told not to be honest? No empathy in Christianity? Actually, they have way more empathy than Muslims. Christians have 1,000,000 times more empathy than Muslims. They took it straight from Isa ibn Maryam. We didn't take it from Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Shame on us. But go on. What's the difference between any Christian with these values, rituals, and behavior and us as Muslims? Well, they use the word God. So they have the purpose. They say, we're doing it for God. See, the problem is that we were given a recipe, we were not told how to use it and what for. And that's the problem only Muslim can solve for each other, us. And the Quran is yelling for it. The Sirah is actually explaining it like a physics numerical, literally a numerical. Certain variables, certain constant, you have to mix them and then you're going to get a certain right side of the equation. If you do not get the right outputs, something's wrong with the way you're putting the inputs. That's literally what the definition of Sirah is. All the variables, all the constants. Okay? Now, these are the rituals. And then now, most of Muslims are going through is what the world without Islam is going through. What atheists go through is moral relativism, postmodernistic begotten child, that this is right for you, but not right for me. This is why Muslim kids, and I was talking about that child from Sydney, this is what happened, and it happened to many, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people, most Pakistanis are going through, that this child, Hafiz the Quran, was raised under the, Auschwitz concentration camp sort of a Muslim household. Have to do this, have to do that, slapped around, did the Hafiz course, is in a Islamic school, and then as soon as he had his 17th birthday, that's a good city to be adult in, Sydney. When you're 17, you can do much more than what you can do in Melbourne. So what he does is, he moves right across the street to an 18-year-old woman, 18 than him, older than him, in a conjugal relationship, who has way more tattoos than that woman now, way more piercing than that woman now, and that's the end of the story. That's the normal and positive, very, very, not positive, normal reaction to this sort of a purposeless, ritual-full, behavior-enforced, values-announced parenting model. That's what's going to happen to my kids and your kids if we do not direct them. Now, the problem, look at this. This is where we are inside the session, okay? We have a great intent. We have some sort of a grayish sort of a identity definition. And all of a sudden, since we did not have the purpose, somebody told us, no, you don't need it. Actually, a lot of people told us. And now, We actually believe that since Tariq Jamil says that, Taqi Usmani says that, Mufti Menk says that, or whatever, and everybody, in my madrasa or school said that. My mommy says that too. So everybody cannot be wrong. Since everybody cannot be wrong, so Islam does not really have an actual purpose. It is a very free religion. I can do whatever on this planet as long as I have certain values, certain principles, and my behavior shows for it. That is what you and me define. This is you and me. This is you and me. And then we have the guts to measure each other's Islam every single day. You cannot measure an Islam of everybody now. Anybody. Nobody can measure Islam of nobody. Hence, where's the justice? Well, Australia will do that for you. We are all law-abiding citizens. Really, laws, where? Australians. Or where's the camera? Canadians or American. Most Pakistanis, most, not all, exceptions are there, but 99% are way better citizens than Australians. Way better, actually. Most Pakistanis are way better Americans than Joe Biden himself. Well, most Americans are better than Joe Biden, but most Pakistanis are way better than your average American local. Most Pakistanis are awesome English people, way more law-abiding than anybody else. Actually, they teach law. You know that? You go to England, every Pakistani is going to teach you law. They're going to show you what the law is. And most English people know. I was taught some law by the year here, right? Some law. So they teach you law. In Pakistan, you know what they do? They don't teach you law. But that's not what my point is. My point is, Pakistanis, as soon as they leave the Pakistan airspace, all of a sudden they become awesome, current definition Muslims. Let me just finish this point, I'll come to you. So everybody has that opportunity to practice that sort of Islam. And you know what? That's why in Pakistan, सबसे बड़ा जुमला पता क्या बोला जाता है? जान की उर्दू में बोल रहा हूँ, स्पेशली आंटियाँ बोलती हैं, अमेरिका में बेटा ज़्यादा इस्लाम है पाकिस्तान से भी. I'm like, yeah, of course. जाहिर है अमेरिका में ज़्यादा इस्लामी होना था, क्योंकि अमेरिका में इस्लाम की वाले स्कॉलर्स वाला वर्जन ऑफ इस्लाम नहीं सिखा रहे ना. वहाँ पे हमें ट्रेन आउट ऑफ इस्लाम जो नहीं किया जाता. जो वर्जन आपको पता है वो तो बेहतरीन अमेरिका में होना था. इंग्लैंड में ना इस्लाम देखना है तो इंग्लैंड आके देखो. कौन? पाकिस्तानी आंटी की आखिरी व्हाट्सएप ट्वीट से इक़्तिबास. मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में किसी से मिला नहीं हूँ. क्या पता ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी ऐसे हो. तो बेटा इस्लाम देखना है, कैनबरा जाओ. आपने भी सुना होगा. I don't know, maybe I'm not going to judge you. But yes, that definition of Islam is way more in the West than anywhere else. There's a reason for it. And that's the problem I'm actually trying to make you solve for your kids. अपने जैसा मुसलमान नहीं बना देना अपने बच्चों को. There's a responsibility. My job is qulu qawlan sadida. Okay? Qulu qawlan sadida is your kids telling you, Mommy, don't beat behind the bush. Give it to me straight. I'm giving to you straight. Somebody else didn't. That's why you're going to see Muslim clerics sitting on this stool. Like this. They're going to start with Allah Azza wa Jal's name. They're going to open the Quran in front of you. And all they're going to do is rituals, behavior, values. Rituals? Yeah. Behaviors? Yes. Values. What's around this? It's called the fatwa. Okay, that's it. That's the entirety of my being here. Yes. Hence, no energy in a Muslim. Hence, Muslims cannot amount to anything in this planet. Never. With this philosophy, you cannot. Nobody has. You need a centripetal force for even morality to grow. Morality is an accumulative whole. I didn't say that. The psychologists say that. Morality of an individual is held on by the group. A single man in the jungle cannot be moral. He has to have a group regulating the morality of this guy, refreshing it, holding, grounding it, putting him accountable for any mistake. That's the natural order. If there is no punishment, there is no morality. It can't even grow inside me. And who's going to punish me? Of course, the system is going to punish you. Well, Australia does that. Yes, that's why morality in the West. That's why you say, yahan pe Islam zyada hai. That's it. Otherwise, Islam kahin pe bhi zyada kam nahi hai. Islam सिर्फ और सिर्फ उस वक्त ज़्यादा है जब इस्लाम का सेंटर मौजूद होगा, वरना इस्लाम ज़ीरो है. इंसान ज़्यादा हैं, इस्लाम ज़ीरो है. So, what is the symptoms? Well, we know identity crisis is the system. We all know, everybody knows. Let's not kid around. I've been around the world plenty. At certain ages which are really, really critical. For example, 10, for example, 15. I was not in Pakistan. So I was thinking, okay, most of the people have gone through this. So all of you guys have gone through this. You're first generation immigrants. What did you go through? You went through simple things. Like, how can you be a Christian and believe in all of these values without the Quran? And me and my people with the Quran don't believe in any of these values. How can you be so nice every time you say, how you doing, mate? You enter an elevator and everyone's trying to service you. You go to a counter, everyone's trying to smile at you and service you. Behaviors, manners, yes. People are good human beings without cameras on. Pakistan mein camera on, awesome mu'mineens. Camera off, all Abu Jahls. Camera is an amazing, amazing spirit. But here, you go to a tiny little convenience store and that person is going to give you that little confusion as to what? Really? How did that happen? All of a sudden, all the identity goes down the drain. Because, first of all, you are the solute, these people are the solvent. And solvent presses the solute. Solute does not have maha, solute does not have its own identity. Unless something else is backing it up. And no solute can survive the solvent. That's why it's called the solvent. It's going to adapt to the behavior and the identity of the solvent. Australia, solvent. Pakistan, Pakistani immigrant, solute. You come in, if you're not going through the inferiority complex, then there's something wrong with your brain. So don't worry, if your mommy went through that complex with your daddy, you have to walk out of it consciously, work towards it. It's not uncommon for a Pakistani to think that the next white guy is more competent than him just because he's white. It's okay, immigrants go through that. Then you have to work, prove yourself. And as soon as you are recognized by the local, all of a sudden you think you made it. This kind of pressure is the reason why hijrah is the biggest deed in Islam. Of course, hijrah for Allah. But the problem is the same. When an immigrant goes, he comes into the biggest amount of pressure. The tide takes him. He loses his self-esteem, self-belief, self-worth. And then you know what he has to do? He has to prove to everybody that the philosophy is right. I don't care. Tell your lords that I am from your Lord, from their Lord. This is the K2 and the Everest he has to climb. It is the burden only prophets bear. That's why immigrants are looked up so high in Islam. हिजरा का इतना बड़ा, ये आपको उर्दू में जान के बता रहा हूँ, हिजरा का सबसे बड़ा सवाब क्यों है? हिजरा आपकी साइकोलॉजी को क्रश कर देती है और आप दोबारा से जीरो से बिल्ड करते हैं अपनी साइकोलॉजी. सबसे बड़े समंदर के बहाव के अगेंस्ट खड़े अकेले होते हैं और अपना फलसफा प्रैक्टिस कर रहे होते हैं. Remind of you that anyone? सबको पता चल गया ना किसकी बात कर रहा हूं? हर नबी, अकेला mission. First man, yes. Jibreel Amin comes to the Prophet ﷺ and says, everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. The powerful, yeah. The weak, yes. Your friends, yes. Your family, yes. Everybody's wrong, O Muhammad. You have to tell them that what is the right thing to do. Understand Musa alayhi salam ke saath kya hua hai. When the burning bush attracted him, and it says, go to Pharaoh, the guy who thinks he's right with all the powers. Say to him, सब कुछ गलत है. सब कुछ गलत है. Yes, सब कुछ गलत है. Imagine inferiority complex. तोड़ना किसे कहते हैं? That's the prophetic way. The prophetic way that, you know what, this is the most difficult job. That's what all of you guys are going through. Why do you think your kids are way more Australians than you can possibly imagine? They can leap and bound in 10 years, which you couldn't in 200 years. They didn't go through this. Your kids are not going to go through that kind of a problem. You did. You migrated. आप बताता हूं, 2 मसले हो गए ना. फलसफा ही गलत आ रहा था. Every man for himself. और उसके बाद ऑस्ट्रेलिया आ गए. That definition of Islam cannot survive. I'm sorry, cannot. That's why you feel a lot Christianish. And you practice, you know what, good human beings, you know. I will help you way more than I help the Muslim being. Yeah, it's okay. That's not your fault. The fault is there's a certain philosophy that's missing, which I'm saving. Abhi dikhata hu aapko. But this is what they're doing. Selfishly driven Pakistani Muslims. अपना घर, अपनी गाड़ी, अपनी बीवी, अपने बच्चे, बाकी शहर सारा जल जाए, खैर है, कोई बात नहीं. मेरा घर बच जाए. कजन्स को, खानदान को, अपनी जात पात को बचा लेंगे. गैरत लगी हुई, अगला पठान है, कर लेता हूं कुछ. You know, otherwise, you know what? We all know, पाकिस्तान में मैं ज़्यादा डिपेंड कर सकता था आप पे. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में I cannot. All of a sudden, सिर्फ 200 रुपए का डॉलर है. और वहां पे 200 रुपए देना कोई मसला ही था. यहां पे डॉलर देना बहुत बड़ा मसला है. How did that happen? Where did that differential come from? I'll tell you it. I mean, everybody goes through this. Because the behavior is determined by the solvent. यहाँ पे हर एक को मसला होना है. सिर्फ पैसों की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं. Time, most of all time. In Pakistan, our favorite pastime is pastime. Pakistani boys, लड़कियों को नहीं पता इस बात का. We go out to do nothing. That's Pakistan. You think we're going at work? दफ्तर जा रहे? No. दफ्तर हम बीच में पॉकेट्स में काम करते होते. कई लोगों ने कई साल नौकरी नहीं छोड़ी. वहां पे दोस्त काम करता है. This is what America, Australia, Canada, you can't have that kind of luxury. So एयरपोर्टों पे आदमी भी इसलिए रोते हुए नजर आते हैं. एक दूसरे को क्यों देख रहे होते हैं? It's a whole lifestyle that is, that guy represents. So Australia represents a machine. America represents a machine. Gotta work. Actually, Australia doesn't. The first thing Australians told me was, Sahil bhai, हम retirement की लाइफ गुजार रहे हैं. He's 34. And I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, chill, sir. Pressure कोई नहीं है. You freaking Canadian, don't corrupt us. Don't show them that there is actual work done, okay? So what are you doing? You know what? My hosts, my friends here, all of them, combined together, and they're like, इतने बजे आ रहे, इतने बजे आ रहे हैं. And I'm like, अमेरिका में कभी भी नहीं ऐसे हुआ, कितने बजे आ रहे हैं? They're all like, see you Friday at 6, eh? See you Saturday at 4. See you Sunday at 8. That's it. We cannot see you Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. फ्लाइट का टाइम सही टाइम पे लेके आना. फ्लाइट इस्लामाबाद से फ्लाइट सबसे पहले मेरा स्केड्यूल, बाद में तेरा स्केड्यूल. I'm the guest. Yeah, I don't care. I'm the American. I'm the Canadian, I'm the English. We have a certain slot to give you. But in Australia, साहिल भाई कितने 2 बजे रात उठे हुए आ रहा हूँ. I swear, I told Mohsin कि अगर मैंने कहीं सेटल होना हो, I'll think Melbourne, man. Because it is very Pakistani. Very Pakistani. मेरे पीछे हारून बैठा हुआ था. You don't know these guys. I'm naming them like I'm an autistic person. But they're my friends. I'm saying it for them. And he was like, we were going to, from Epping to Werribee or wherever we're going from. I only know 2 names. So he's like, Sahil bhai, lag raha na Kala Shakaku se Shekhupura? And I was like, yeah, lag raha. Motorway. Even the colors are the same, man. Okay, so it's all about the people, it's all about the mindset. Because it's all about the philosophy. It's all about the culture, the behavior, the values, norms. Now, the problem is, मुझे एक बंदे ने पूछा है, आपसे वो सवाल कर लेता हूँ, that you know whatever is going on in Gaza, I just have one question, how are you okay? I get that Australia mein everything's okay. I get Pakistan mein desi culture okay. But after these sort of events, how is a Muslim okay with whatever he's doing right now? How are you getting that energy, man? That's the question. I want that energy. He told me, he's a Muslim, he's an Arab. He's like, how are you not crying, man? How are you smiling? How are you laughing? How are you not crushed? That's the problem. I'm actually trying to tell you that this is a real problem. And it's just one Gaza event, right? I'm to Pakistani. We go through this every day. So, this is what they should have trained us on. But they cannot train us on this because of a reason. What is the training model? इससे पहले मैं आगे चलूँ, आपका क्वेश्चन था. Some girl said, sir, yes. उर्दू के लिए याद खड़ा करें. मैंने बोलनी फिर भी अंग्रेजी थी, खाली चेक कर रहा था कुछ ज़्यादा बड़ा नुकसान तो नहीं हो रहा था. ज़्यादा बड़ा नुकसान नहीं है. I'll tell you why. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Pakistani. You cannot understand English. English जानना कोई सवाब का काम नहीं. But उर्दू जानना ज़्यादा बड़ा गुनाह है. I'm kidding. पॉइंट ये रहा मेरा कि अरबी होनी चाहिए थी ना इस बार. We should have spoken Arabic. We should have understood the language of Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, and then we would not have gone through the kind of roller coaster of इसी आयत के 2 मतलब सर, इसी हदीस के 6 मतलब सर. We wouldn't have gone through that cancer of philosophy. एक ही आयत सर आप भी इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और शिया भी, एक ही आयत सुन्नी भी, तो एक ही आयत, इसी आयत के थ्रू मैं भी काफर, इसी आयत के थ्रू आप भी काफर, उसी आयत के थ्रू आपके लिए मैं काफर और मेरे लिए मैं मुसलमान. ये पता क्यों हो रहा है? बिकॉज उर्दू ट्रांसलेटर्स ने आके बीच में ब्रैकेट्स डाल दिए. इन ब्रैकेट्स के थ्रू हमें इस्लाम हटा लिया गया. एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. मेक श्योर you break the brackets for your kids. Okay? Any other question other than language?
Sir, Arabic say all Islam's or Quran translation exactly the same?
For Arabs?
Yeah, Pakistani translation interpretation they were wrong.
You want me to tell you the name of the translations?
Because we are blaming the language and the translation and interpretation.
Okay, I know who to pick now after so much of cross-referencing for Urdu translation. For the English, I don't know why we don't tell each other the truth, but who's read the English translation of the Quran? Yeah. That is the best way to make people run away from Islam. Those English translations, शेक्सपियर की सक्की माँ भी नहीं कर सकती उसकी ट्रांसलेशन. ये हमारे साथ साजिश नहीं है. I'm telling you, Pickthall did not know that English. He was Googling it up. And he made sure, you know what, this is the perfect word, because it is the perfect word, I'm sure, I'm not doubting his intent. But that's not English, man. That's what happens to those Mormons, you know. You know who Mormons are? Australia's Mormons? Yeah, okay. Well, Mormon, you know what they did? They came up with this Jason's, the Queen's English, that version of English, that is like, you know, that's really royal English. There's a word for it, I keep forgetting. Big words, like 17 alphabet words, 14 alphabet words. And they have to put them all in the single sentence. That's what Muslim kids are going through. Because when we give them, you know what, since हमने उर्दू नहीं सिखाई, हमें थोड़ा और भी complex होता है, तो English, you know what, here you go. My son, I'm going to give you the Quran. Okay? And then he'll be like, I would rather understand Arabic than this English. Even though I was born and raised in Australia, even the king of Australia, the president of Australia cannot know the meaning of this. The thesaurus is not even updated. When I use it online, that word does not exist on Google anymore. That's what happened to English translation. Urdu ki albata. Urdu ki. I would highly recommend you to go to Abdul Halim translation. He cuts to the core most of the time. Okay? But when you read the translation, you know, when you know the overall philosophy around when you know the seerah, you'll find out the philosophy around the events preceding that ayah and the time at which this ayah was being revealed. Then you understand that, you know what, this guy is primed into this sort of, the translator, is primed into this psychology, so he had to translate it like this. Okay, or he does not have that sort of exposure at that time of science, so he couldn't possibly translate this ayah. There's so many ayahs, unless you know physics, unless you know biology, you cannot translate those ayahs. For example, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ. You know that, the first ayah of Revelation, right? اقرأ بِسْمِ رَبِّكَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ. Now we know what alaq means in Arabic. Okay, but Pakistanis do not know what alaq means in Urdu. उर्दू में बात कर लेता हूँ ना, सबसे पता चल जाए, बीमारी का एक निशानी बता रहा हूँ. अलग की उर्दू क्या है? गोश्त का लोथड़ा. जैसे कि ये गोश्त के लोथड़े हैं मेरे. No, अलग की उर्दू ये नहीं है. अलग की उर्दू है जोंक. The leech, the animal, that leech, you know, but जोंक का पता है ना सबको, खून चूसने वाला. अलग is leech, but no, उर्दू में खून का लोथड़ा. When the Arabs know what it means, and you knew Arabic, why don't you teach us Arabic here, literally? But he couldn't fathom that Allah is saying leech, even though inside the womb of a mother, the human being, the human child, that zygote, is literally clinging on, sucking blood from the womb, the wall of the womb. That is the leech, the dangling little muscle. That is the first stage. Well, not the first, but the first visible stage. And when Allah says this is a miracle of biology. But no, khoon ka lothra. See the problem here? That's a way bigger problem than you can think right now, because it's not just a problem of words. It's a problem of realms. That it was a miracle of the Quran, and Muslim Pakistanis couldn't really get it. And as soon as any biologist is going to show you through a microscope, you'll be like, whoa, technology, man. No, not technology, theology, man. You're too slow, it's theology. We could have given you heads ups here. A lot more. We could have saved your time at least, if not akhirah. Okay? So, what is the ideal understanding that we could have or should have gotten? Number one, हमें सबसे पहले purpose. We should have started with the purpose. I'll tell you what the purpose is. Allah has shown you in the heavens and inside, any and everything, the system development has to be the purpose. If it is no system, you and I are not worth a dime. Literally, our morality worth nothing. Our capabilities cannot be measured. डॉलर का रेट क्या है इस वक्त? डॉलर का रेट क्या है? ऑस्ट्रेलियन डॉलर बता रहे ना. ओके, ऑस्ट्रेलियन डॉलर. वंस कितना? उर्दू में बात करते ना. 170 प्लस ना. हाँ, कैसे पता है? गूगल नहीं, गूगल को कैसे पता है? गूगल को सही पता है, गूगल इज नॉट अ सिस्टम। गूगल को कैसे पता है? सम बॉय प्लीज, जो बेगम के सामने मैथमेटिशियन बन रहा था ना, सैलरी $1 के हिसाब कर, वो जरा बताएं। उठे ना, लेट्स जस्ट मेजर द वर्थ ऑफ अ मुस्लिम माइंड नाउ, लेट्स जस्ट डू दिस। वरना बेगम को बताता है, बेटा बात सुनो ध्यान से, ये चीज़ नहीं पता उधर मशवरा ना दिया करो, मुझे पता है कब कौन सी गाड़ी लेनी है, कब कौन सा घर लेना है। आपको गोल रोटी के लिए शादी की थी, गोल रोटी बनाए, शाबाश जी। या डॉलर का रेट गूगल को कैसे पता, ये सवाल है। किसी ने अपलोड कर दिया, somebody uploaded the first, sir. So every day some Australian goes up and says, this should be the dollar rate. This, you actually think this is how it works? It's an algorithm. So it's an algorithm. That's how Google knows. Oh my God. Okay, forget Australian dollars. Any dollar, any currency, it sets up its rate where? Oh God, stock exchange. Australia. मुझे किसी ने कहा था, सर अभी पहली जनरेशन इमिग्रेंट है, जरा हाथ होला रखना। मैंने तो सबसे आसान सवाल किया है, डॉलर का रेट स्टॉक एक्सचेंज बनाती है। Maha, see what I go through. Big words, सब हैरान रह गए हैं। ऊंचा बोले ना। API, IT का जवाब दिया। आप डॉलर का जवाब देना, डॉलर का रेट कौन बताता है? गूगल को नहीं, हाँ दुनिया को, वर्ल्ड बैंक बताता। यू नेवर थॉट अबाउट दिस? और रोज फोन करके बताते हैं, हमें पता कितने का होगा डॉलर। लाइक एवरी मंथ यू डू दिस। आप तो पहले साल कुछ डॉलर में करते रहे हैं, यहां तक कि आपने साबुन में खरीदना था, 600 रुपए का साबुन लेके आया। लाइक यू डू दिस मोर देन एनी वन इन द वर्ल्ड। हाउ डिड यू नॉट थिंक? ये कर रहे हैं मौलवियों के साथ भी। हर मौलवी आता है, अल्लाह ने कहा, अच्छा अल्लाह ने ही कहा होगा क्योंकि भाई साहब ने कह दिया। मतलब आपके वो भाई साहब का नाम जिब्राइल है, जो अल्लाह ने कहा, जिब्राइल बताता है ना। आपके पास जिब्राइल, शेख जिब्राइल तो नहीं आते ना, आपके पास शेख मुफ्ती महक आते हैं ना, तो मुफ्ती महक तो गलत हो सकते हैं, उससे पूछना चाहिए, सर हाउ डिड यू नो? या आई नो, आई गेट इट, इंडेक्स। सो देयर इज अ सिस्टम which is regulated around the whole currencies of the world. There's a system. Otherwise, you cannot know the worth of the Australian paper called currency, called dollar, with that guy's face on it. Okay? Who is that guy, by the way? $50 पे John Marsh, the cricketer. I'm asking you, na? I'm asking you, listen. Army tha, okay. So he liberated somebody. He fought for Australia. Okay. So, currency का rate कोई system बता रहा है, otherwise your paper is worth nothing. It's worth nothing, literally. So system actually puts the worth on that, and you have to literally feed your kids based on the worth of that paper. So some system is feeding your kids. You get that? So system is making you get out from bed and actually put blood, sweat, space, time, and effort into getting the most important thing, which is your kids, to have some food, shelter, clothes. Some system is making you worth something. Some system is actually telling you what you are worth because you are a person who feeds the kids. Some system is putting the translation in literal measurable units of worth around you, otherwise you are worth nothing. You're literally worth nothing if the system is not there. And there was a time, we all know, that when systems are not there, it was not that far in the history, when every man just had a gun, the the faster the gun, the more you're worth. So we all came together and said, no, that's not how it's going to work, man. Slow people are also human beings. It's basic empathy. We got to come up with some sort of regulation, a system, laws, rules, principles, procedures. And now we have a big system called Australia, and the world and the whole index is set every single day based on so many things Australia is doing in terms of trade and commerce. And all of that translates into that daily number which you call the rate on the dollar. That's simple. So if there's no system, no worth. And if the system goes down or crashes or is not behaving the way those rules are saying, the dollar rate goes down. That's the worth of a single person inside a system and the worth of a system inside a single person. That's the first thing Islamic scholars have to teach. कि बेटा अगर इस्लाम का सिस्टम नहीं तो तू टके का भी मुसलमान नहीं है. Literally taka. Rahman, your country, taka, right? What is the taka? What is the taka? A taka is a penny, right? Yeah. So तुम एक टके के भी नहीं. पाकिस्तान में अभी भी टका ही चल रहा है. हमने आपसे लिया, वापस नहीं किया. अब हम टके वाले, हम भी टके के ही हैं. Okay? सर नहीं, हम मतलब मुहावरे में बता ना, जिसको हम टका कहते हैं हम उस टके के नहीं हैं. उनको जो जिसको वो टके कहते हैं उसकी तो वैल्यू है. हम टके के भी मुसलमान नहीं हैं अगर इस्लाम का सिस्टम रेगुलेट नहीं हो रहा. बिकॉज सिस्टम इज नॉट गोना बैक अस अप एंड वी कैन नॉट be measured around a certain yardstick which is coming in. That's, if you do not establish that, I'm sorry, you are a cancer. Big statement? Yes, very big statement. Prove me wrong. कि सर अगर सिस्टम में नहीं है तो टके की ये औकात नहीं मेरी इस्लाम में. जी हाँ बिल्कुल. बल्कि आप तो कैंसर हैं सर. आपकी वजह से गजा हो रहा है, आपकी वजह से 2 नंबरी हो रही है, आपकी वजह से नवाज शरीफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन रहा है. गजा तो सही बड़ा मसला लगता है ना हमें तो. आपकी वजह से इमरान खान को हिम्मत मिलती है. ये लो आप छोड़े ना, उर्दू में बताता हूं. इमरान खान कितना अच्छा आदमी है वर्थ नहीं पता हमें. आप ये पता है इमरान खान इतना अच्छा आदमी है जितना बुरा नवाज शरीफ है सर. दैट्स इट. That's the measure of इमरान खान worth. इमरान खान उतना ही ऊपर जाएगा जितना नवाज शरीफ से जाएगा. इसके अलावा मुझे बताएं कैसे मेजर करूं इमरान खान की वर्थ को, आपकी मेरी वर्थ को कैसे मेजर हो. What is my contribution to the world, the religion, the philosophy? हौज़े कौसर पे नबी अलैहिस्सलाम के सामने खड़ा हो गया क्या कहलेगा? क्या प्लान बनाया है आप लोगों ने? कभी किसी ने सोचा? When you're going to meet him सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, what are you going to say? क्या किया? Good person? You're a good person? That's your case? You actually think that's your case? कि सर I was a good person? या रसूलुल्लाह मैं एक अच्छा आदमी मरा हूं. You think that's going to cut it? हमसे बहुत अच्छे, I swear to you on paper, बहुत अच्छे इंसान क्रिश्चियंस हैं इस वक्त. I and you both know this. Christians are way better human beings than us. 100 का सैंपल लेके देख लेते हैं, दुनिया के किसी मुल्क से लेके देख ले, पाकिस्तान से ही लेके देख ले. They're nicer, more mannered, more empathetic, they liberate fairness, softer, way softer actually. हम तो सख्त दिल करख्त लोग हैं. अल्लाह ताला ने कुरान पाक में क्रिश्चियंस की लिटरली यही तारीफ भी की है. That they're going to come around, they're soft. They're soft. Who's making them soft? You know who's making them soft? ईसा इब्न मरियम्स कैरिकेचर, जो भी इन्होंने इमेजिनेशन बनाई है ना ईसा इब्न मरियम की, जिसने भी दी थी, सही दी थी ऑफ कोर्स. नबी अलैहिस्सलाम ने कहा हर नबी को अल्लाह ताला ने एक यूनिक गिफ्ट जरूर दिया. कॉमन गिफ्ट अलग दिए, यूनिक गिफ्ट दिया. मुझे जवामे और कलमी दी, कलमे को जामे करना, द कॉम्प्रीहेंड द ऑरेटरी स्किल. ओके, नोबडी कुड स्पीक द हदीस द वे ही कुड नरेट द हदीस. एक ही हदीस के कई कई मतलब सब दुरुस्त जवाब को. और ईसा इब्न मरियम को हिल्म अता की. यूनिक टू ईसा इब्न मरियम एंड 3 billion nice human beings are roaming around. Don't talk about exceptions, okay? But general psychology of Christians क्या है? Soft. And you see it, you're in Australia, I just came here. You go to a Muslim country, you land in Iraq, you'll find out. So Iraq क्यों कह रहा हूँ? Land in Lahore. Softer than Christians, more vile and vicious. इतने प्यार से काटेंगे आपको.
साहिल भाई, ये क्वेश्चन है आपसे, आपको पूरी पाकिस्तान में कभी कुछ अच्छा नहीं बना है ऐसा देखिए?
2 दफा ऐसा वाक़या हुआ था
एक बात है, ट्रैफिक से लेके
पाकिस्तान में.
से लेके डीलिंग और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सब कुछ बुरा है क्या वहाँ पे? और दूसरी बात ये कि जो आप आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस की बात कर रहे हैं, तो अगर हम अपने बच्चे को ऐसे ब्रॉटअप करेंगे छोटे से लेके पाकिस्तान बुरा है मुसलमान बुरे हैं,
बुरा बुरा
एक मिनट शक्ल हमारी इंडियन से मिलती है, लेकिन काम हमने साइकोलॉजी हमने ओवरली करनी है, तो फिर ये कैसे पॉसिबल होगा?
शक्लों से नहीं कोई काम होता. सबसे पहले ये चेंज करना होगा. सुने सुने सुने, पाकिस्तान के अलावा किसी और जगह मैं चांस होता तो मैं उस ज़बान में एंटर होता. सुन लें,
और आप बीइंग
पाकिस्तानी बोले ना. पाकिस्तानी देखे बात पता क्या आसान है बताता हूँ. मैं आपका सवाल समझ गया हूँ. पाकिस्तानी हूँ, आधी बात में समझ जाता हूँ और सही समझता हूँ. पाकिस्तानी हूँ. सुने सुने, आपने बात मुकम्मल करनी है, कर लीजिए.
मेरा कुछ प्रोफेशन भी ऐसा है कि जब भी पाकिस्तान से मुझे लोगों की कॉल आती है, तो ये कहते हैं पाकिस्तान में ये बात है, मैं एक्सपोजर की या बाहर आने की.
आपका नाम क्या है?
Aishmin.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I just don't know how to get it. Listen, एक अफशी दूसरे अफशी को निगर बोलता है ना, तो कोई बात नहीं होती. आप बोल के दिखाएं जरा, ठीक है? मैं पाकिस्तानियों से बात करूंगा तो क्या मक्खन पोस्टन करूं? सुने 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 ना, हो मैं और आप लड़ लेंगे. यास्मीन, listen, I swear to you, listen, I mean no disrespect to any brown man or woman. मेरा पहले दिन से क्रीडो था कि पाकिस्तान से निकलो और इस्लाम में दाखिल हो जाओ. आप लोगों का क्रीडो था पाकिस्तान से निकलो और ऑस्ट्रेलिया दाखिल हो जाओ. I am not for any identity other than the Muslim identity. आप रास्ते में पाकिस्तान आए, इंडिया आए, मक्का आए या मदीना आए, I'm gonna bulldoze it कि मेरे मोहम्मद और मेरे बीच में कोई नहीं आएगा. हमें पीस के रख दिया है ये 50 मुल्कों के अंदर. मैं पाकिस्तानी नहीं, मैं मुसलमान पहले हूं. पाकिस्तानी होने का फायदा पाकिस्तान को होना चाहिए, पाकिस्तानी को नहीं. गौर से समझे इस फर्क को. पाकिस्तान को हमने सिर्फ नुकसान पहुंचाया. द आइडेंटिटी वॉज क्रैश्ड बाय अस बिकॉज वी वर नॉट मुस्लिम इनफ. नबी इस्लाम जिस जगह से गुजरते थे वो जगह बेहतर हो जाती थी. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड what our Prophet was. One time, this Baddu guy came in the Masjid al-Nabawi and he spat on the wall. Spat, literally, thuk peki with. And also an old time. Prophet did not know that. He just passed by one time. And my Prophet, our Prophet, when he saw that, he started scratching it with his own fingers. You need to understand, you think it's a small matter for me? No, it's the biggest matter. कि हमने दुनिया में जहां जहां पाकिस्तानी गए हैं ना, हमारी वजह से इस्लाम को इज्जत मिलनी चाहिए थी. और माने तो सही, इस्लाम तबाह किया, हमने बदनाम किया है. अगर मेरी और आपकी जनरेशन भी तारीफें करती ना दूसरे की, पिछली आंटियों की तरह यास्मीन मेरी और आप भी करते रहे, और तबाही मच गई है, बच्चे तबाह हो गए. मैं बता दूं, प्राइड ऑफ
human being, to be a human
प्राइड तो कहते उसको, प्राइड के खिलाफ तो इस्लाम आया ना, लेना डिफरेंट देना। I get your point. What you're saying is कि सुने आप, give me your spelling of the name. Aishmin. Aishmin. Okay. So what do they call you here in Australia? Really? पाकिस्तान की बुराई ना करें मेरे सामने। सुने सुने सुने, ये तालियां कब बंद होंगी आप लोगों की? आइसमीन, गौर से सुने मेरी बात। 2 मिनट के लिए अपना झंडा उतारें, 2 मिनट के लिए इंडिया पाकिस्तान से बाहर आए और खुली हवा देखें सीरिया की क्या हवा है। देखें, मेरे नबी अलैहि वसल्लम के सामने एक वाकया हुआ, गौर से समझ लें वाकये को। जो प्रैक्टिकल जोक क्रैक किया एक अंसारी ने महाजर के साथ, प्रैक्टिकल जोक सीरियस हो गया। प्रॉफेट सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अभी मस्जिद नबी में, हुजरे में, और गुस्से में लड़ाई शुरू हो गई। यहां तक कि महाजर जो भी साहबी थे, अब उस वक्त उन्होंने आवाज लगा दी, कितने वो महाजरीन, निकलो सारे। उसके जवाब में अंसारी ने कहा, अंसार मुकाबले पे आ जाएं। दोनों ने नारा लगाया। नबी अलैहि सलाम बाहर तशरीफ लाए और कहा कि ये जाहलियत की आवाजें कहां से आई हैं मुझे आज, ये जाहलियत की हवाएं कहां से चलना शुरू हो गई, ये क्या महाजरीन अंसार लगाया हुआ है। ओके, मेक श्योर यू अंडरस्टैंड, मैं किसी शक में नहीं हूं, मैं तो मरी कौम, सेंटर ऑफ पाकिस्तान। ओके, आई लिव इन इस्लामाबाद, इस्लाम आबाद। ओके, इस्लाम आबाद। Okay, now understand what I'm trying to get at. I need Pakistan to prosper as a Muslim center of the world. क्योंकि ये वाहिद मुल्क है, ये वाहिद मुल्क है जो कि अल्लाह के नाम पे हमने कहा था, वाहिद नहीं है, दूसरा है, पहला हम थे, दूसरा इसराइल है। ये वाहिद मुल्क है जिसने कहा था कि जो कलमा पढ़ा है पासपोर्ट है, ये लो आओ। हमने कोशिश की है अल्लाह के नाम के ऊपर काम करने की। बाद में ये लियाकत अली खान से याहिया खान तक के 2 नंबर आए ना, मुशर्रफ इमरान खान तक के, ये बाद में आए हैं सारे, जिनको किसी वजह से कंफ्यूजन मिली है। उनका कसूर नहीं था, मगर उनको खुद देखो ना, वॉश इट आउट। व्हाट डू यू थिंक, मेरे पे नाउज़ बिल्लाह वही तो नहीं आती ना, आपकी कॉमन सेंस, मेरी कॉमन सेंस वही है। मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल देता हूं। आयुष्मीन सैफुर रहमान sitting right here in our room. Saf? Yeah. पूरा नाम क्या आपका? Now this is what's going on here. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. थोड़ा दिल बड़ा कीजिएगा, अभी पाकिस्तान और इस्लाम का मुकाबला होने लगा है, दिल बड़ा कीजिएगा। ओके जी सैफ, लेट मी जस्ट गिव यू अ केस स्टडी बड़ी। आपके वालिद साहब पाकिस्तानी थे, आपको पता ना? या इट्स ओके, डोंट वरी, सही है। या उनके वालिद साहब इंडियन थे, पता ना? या दैट्स हाउ इट वर्क्स, राइट? कल को कराची खुदा ना खास्ता अलग हो जाता है तो वही होगा जो अभी मैं और सैफ के साथ डायलॉग होने वाला है। गौर से सुनना, अल्लाह के नाम पे जान देना सबसे बड़ी शहादत है। शहादत है गवाही, ठीक है, सबसे बड़ा। कि भाई मैं इससे बड़ी तो कुछ चीज है नहीं, ये लो दे देता हूं अल्लाह के नाम पे, इतना मैं बिलीव करता हूं अल्लाह के कलाम पे, अल्लाह के रसूल पे, इसको शहादत कहते हैं। यस, उसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं पाकिस्तान में, उसको ऑनर करने के लिए निशान हैदर देते हैं ना, ठीक है। सैफ उर रहमान के मोहल्ले से एक लड़का उठा है, मेरे मोहल्ले से एक लड़का उठा है, ठीक है, लाहौर में मिले, दोनों एक जहाज में बैठे। सैफ के मोहल्ले का लड़का मेरे मोहल्ले के लड़के को ओवर पावर करने की कोशिश करता है इन द नेम ऑफ अल्लाह, और मेरे मोहल्ले का लड़का वो जहाज गिरा देता है। ओके, वी ऑल नो दैट बॉय, वी ऑल नो दैट। सैफ डजंट नो दैट बॉय, सैफ नोज द अदर बॉय। यू नो व्हाई? आई टेल, होल्ड ऑन। सैफ्स गवर्नमेंट कम्स टुगेदर एंड सिर्फ निशाने हैदर दो उस लड़के को। आवर गवर्नमेंट कम्स टुगेदर एंड सिर्फ निशाने हैदर दो इसको। दोनों दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा ऑनर लेके जाएंगे। आपस में लड़ रहे थे किसके नाम पे? अल्लाह के नाम पे। क्यों? क्योंकि किसी ने कहा है बांग्लादेश आइडेंटिटी है, पाकिस्तान आइडेंटिटी है, इस्लाम आइडेंटिटी नहीं है। लेबल इस्लाम का लगाया हुआ ऊपर। जरा सोच, डोंट यू सी व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन हियर? मुझे पता किसके सामने शर्मिंदगी है? राशिद मिनास के घर वालों के सामने। जब वहां पे आखिरत में खड़े होंगे मैं कहूंगा क्या हुआ, अभी तक फैसला नहीं हुआ मेरा। दो मुसलमान लड़ रहे थे आपस में, क्यों? लकीरें खींची भी हमने। और ठीक है, लड़े, इलाकों की भी लड़ाइयां इस्लाम में होती हैं, मगर इस्लाम के नाम पर तो ना शुरू। कैश इस्लाम नहीं हो सकता, सॉरी, इस्लाम कैश नहीं हो सकता। इस्लाम आखिरत में कैश होगा। यू कैन नॉट corrupt a philosophy of a human being in the name of Islam and call yourself a scholar or a Muslim or a mother or a father. Pakistan is heaven if we have a purpose, central purpose system के अंदर डाल दिया, वरना पाकिस्तान is nothing better than India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, England, America, Australia. If anything, we all know it's worse right now. वरना क्या वैल्यू है पाकिस्तान की? अगर इस्लाम का निजाम नहीं आ रहा तो इस पाकिस्तान तो एक बहुत बड़ा कैंसर बन जाएगा पूरी दुनिया के लिए। क्यों? फ्रॉड, नाम इस्लाम का, काम 2 नंबर। वो बंगाली या इंडियन या अफगानी इस नाम पे धोखा तो नहीं देते, हम तो इस नाम पे धोखा देते दुनिया को कि पाकिस्तान का मतलब क्या? ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। वी हैव 10 मिलियन टाइम्स द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। वी कैन नॉट एक्सेप्ट कंफ्यूजन इन द कोर सेंटर में। काबे का सेंटर जो लिखा है, कोर में कंफ्यूजन डाली हुई कि ये तो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता। सर, आपके अपने स्कॉलर्स, दुनिया के स्कॉलर्स इस वक्त क्या बातें करें, और मुस्लिम स्कॉलर्स क्या बातें करें? इस्लाम का मतलब होता है आपका और अल्लाह का इरफान, अल्लाह को पहचान, तू अल्लाह का बंदा, अल्लाह तेरा मालिक, तू अकेला अल्लाह का तज़किया कर, अपना नफ्स साफ कर, बस दैट्स व्हाट इस्लाम इज। ये दिखाता हूं आपको। दूर कहां जा रहे हैं? दिस इज एन आर्ग्यूमेंट यूज्ड, दिस इज एन आर्ग्यूमेंट यूज्ड by your current scholarship right now in the camera. They use this ayah as the argument. That's why we're all confused. الَّذِينَ إِن مَّكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ. They say, you know what, Sahil Adeem, where did you come up with this? सेंट्रल सिस्टम होना जरूरी है, प्रोसेस लॉज इस्लाम के हों, निज़ाम इस्लाम का चले, सेंटर में निजाम हो, बाकी पूरी दुनिया में जहां मर्जी मुसलमानों से गिर्द रिवॉल्व करें। कहां से लेके आई ये तुक्के? दैट्स व्हाट दे से। स्कॉलरशिप, रियल क्रेडिबल स्कॉलरशिप, says this to me on my face in debates, on phone, in emails, a lot of resistance, and all of you guys are going through this, not just me. कि ये कहां से निकालिए? ये देखो अल्लाह ताला क्या कह रहा है कुरान पाक में, ये देयर चीफ आर्गुमेंट, इसलिए स्क्रीन पे प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूं। अल्लज़ीना इम्मा कन्नाहुम फिल अर्द अक़ामुस सलावात व ज़कावा। आगे पहले यहां पे रुकूं कि अल्लाह ताला क्या कह रहे हैं? अल्लाह ताला कह रहे हैं कि जब निजाम दे देते हैं, when we establish them on the land, when we give them the power, you know what they do? They say, establish the prayer, aqamus salat, pay your alms, zakat, and then amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. When they tell you what is to do good, what good is this, kya hai good, and then just do what good is. And then they stop you, and then Sahil Adeem. Muslims don't stop you, Muslim governments stop you. What nahy anil munkar is the job of the government. Not a regular man cannot, take the law in his own hands. So now let's have a stop. ये है इनका चीफ आर्गुमेंट। ये कुरान पाक की एक आयत इनको मिली है जिसका असल में मतलब 8 साल का बच्चा भी बताएगा इसका मतलब। Anyone who has never read this ayah, read this in English, I'll read this in Arabic, and you'll find out इस 2 नंबरी से हमें स्पेल किया है। ये 2 नंबरी हमें इसीलिए हमें आप लोगों को पहली दफा सुनना है कि सर ये क्या काबे का मतलब आपने निकाल लिया, क्या स्टाइल देखी और न्यूक्लियस के इलेक्ट्रॉन देखी और आप मान लो, बताता हूं कैसे मान। अल्लाह ताला क्या कह रहे हैं? They are those, Muslims are those, okay? If we establish them in land, if we establish them का मतलब है कि अल्लाह ही बनाएगा, आपके और मेरे हाथ में नहीं, कोशिश हम करेंगे बनाने, बन गया तो अल्लाह ने बनाया, ठीक है? ये है if we establish them। देखेंगे ट्रांसलेशन, किसने पूछा था सवाल ट्रांसलेशन का?
ये 2 नंबर है, ये मैंने कॉपी पेस्ट किया है मेन स्ट्रीम वेबसाइट से। अभी आप गूगल करेंगे आपको भी ये मिलेगी, ये गलत ट्रांसलेशन आपको भी मिलेगी। ये 2 नंबर करते हैं। These are the culprits, the perpetrators, the thieves of our philosophy. You think this is what Allah is saying? Look at the English. Once we establish our land, then we will perform prayers. That's what Aqam as-Salah means. You perform your prayer, Aqam as-Salah. You see?
You see, these games, can you tell these games? This is the kind of games that current philosophy, जो मैं और आप ट्रेन हुए हैं इस्लाम में. Make sure you understand. Aqam as-Salah means everybody prays. That's how simple Aqam as-Salah means. Everybody prays. So what's my job? My job is to make sure everybody prays. As a man, what's your job? Your job is to make sure everybody prays. Aqam as-Salah means everybody prays. Namaz qaim ho gayi hai. You understand me? That's what Arabi is saying. That's what Sahabas did. That's what the Prophet did. No exception. The only difference between a Muslim and a Kafir is Salah. सलाद इतनी बड़ी चीज़ है। मैं अभी सलाद के ऊपर नहीं जा रहा हूँ, मैं एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूँ आपको कि सलाद क्या है। जमहूर मुसलमानों का फतवा, women should specially listen to, कि आदमी अगर मुसलमान आदमी जान के नमाज नहीं पढ़ता, उसकी बीवी को चाहिए अगले हैज से पहले पहले घर जाए, वरना जना करेगी। Surprised? Why wouldn't we be surprised? आदमी को नहीं है हुक्म कि बीवी नमाज नहीं पढ़ती तो उसके अगले हैज का वेट। नो, आदमी को क्या हुक्म है? पढ़ाओ बीवी को नमाज। लीडरशिप दी है तुम्हें। औरत को क्या हुक्म है? तुम पे नहीं इसका सवाल होना, बीबी भागो इधर से, तुमसे तुम्हारा सवाल। मैं एग्जाम्पल क्यों दे रहा हूं नमाज की? आप दिमाग की नसें फट रही है ना, अभी स्किप करें जरा। क्यों? अपने आप को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए किसी भी मुफ्ती के पास चले जाएं, वो मदर टेरेसा वर्जन ऑफ इस्लाम दे देगा। डोंट वरी अबाउट, तौबा कर लें और आ जा, तेरी नीयत तो ठीक थी ना, नीयत तो ठीक थी। ये मैं आपको बता रहा हूं इस्लाम की डिमांड क्या। लो सेल्फ एस्टीम का बंदा इस्लाम पे, कुरान पे नहीं आ सकता। ये कुछ जुमला में बता ही नहीं रहा। नो वन इज टेलिंग अस अ टिमिड लैक ऑफ करेज, लैक ऑफ गैरा। इस्लाम के ऊपर कुरान की बेसिक डिमांड ही नहीं पूरी कर सकते आप। वो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, उनका तरीका, उसका शॉर्टकट है। सिस्टम बनाएंगे, सिस्टम पूरी करवा देगा, आपकी जरूरत नहीं रहेगी, टेंशन ना लें, आप अपनी लाइफ में बिल्कुल सही मेंटेन रहेंगे। बट अगर सिस्टम नहीं है तो फिर आपको पूरी करनी पड़ेगी। दिस इज व्हाट इज द आयत सेइंग कि अमर बिल मारूफ व नही अनिल मुनकर। एवरीबॉडी इज सेइंग दैट, फ्रॉम तकी उस्मानी साहब टू गांधी साहब। क्या अमर बिल मारूफ व नही अनिल मुनकर क्या है? व्हाट इज अमर बिल मारूफ व नही अनिल मुनकर? व्हाट इज इट? नो नो नो, सच का साथ देना, सच का साथ, अमल में नेकी का हुक्म दो और बुराई से रोको। Allah Ta'ala in the Quran says you are the best of the people. Why? How are you the best of the people? Because you do amar bil maruf wa nahy anil munkar. We did not see this being done by other people. Christians do amar bil maruf, awesome. They do not do one nahy anil munkar. They do not do that. They say, you know what? Leave what is to Caesar unto Caesar. Okay? And what is to the church unto the church. Matthew chapter 22. Whoever came up with this blamed Matthew that Jesus told him that. Jesus never said that. Okay? Shouldn't be in the Bible. But it is. Okay, I get it. But Christians don't know that, or Christians don't believe that it's by Matthews. Ironically, the only time Jesus spoke about money was through the mouth of Matthew, the tax collector. Everything else, Jesus said, was oblivious to money. Coming back, Christians believe that गवर्नमेंट का काम है, मैं मानता हूं। मुस्लिम्स कब से बिलीव करना शुरू हो गए हैं कि वन नहीं अनिल मुनकर मैं नहीं करूंगा। और समझ लें कि मुस्लिम बिलीव करते हैं कि वन नहीं अनिल मुनकर मेरा काम नहीं है। तो ये बताएं, कैन आई ऑर्डर यू टू डू नमाज? कैन आई एज अ पर्सन ऑर्डर कि चलो नमाज पढ़ो, या चलो सच बोलो, अभी ये तुमने झूठ बोला है, या चलो रोजा क्यों रखो, रोजा रखो? कैन आई डू दैट? नो नो, इन द करंट सिस्टम कैन आई डू दैट? So when Allah is saying Amar bil Maruf, Allah is not saying do the nasiha. Allah is saying, Amr, order the good. How can I let you order me? See, that should also be the job of the government, not me. But as soon as Amr bil Maruf comes, because it is, oh, jaan to nahi jati na isse. Oh, तो वहां वो कर लिया करो. वन नहीं मुल्क करो, फलस्तीन कौन जाएगा? नहीं, ये तो गवर्नमेंट का काम है. That's the game. That's why I'm telling you, any and every lecture you're going to go through, people are going to burst. कि ये क्या हुआ? सर, ये तो आपने पूरा का पूरा फलसफे को चैलेंज कर दिया. आज बताता हूं वो क्यों चैलेंज कर दिया. आता हूं उस पे आता हूं. सबसे पहले समझ लें, because most of the people right now, not just you guys, of course you guys included, most of the guys who's watching this video by now, their brain is going through a certain split of the atom. कि नहीं सर, ये नहीं हो सकता. This is too much to handle. You cannot be the only man right and every scholar I've ever met is wrong. Well, no. Every scholar that you've ever met is not every scholar in the world. Come out of this little bubble. Most of the scholars that you've met or read are taking literature. वो वाला निसाब उठा रहे हैं, उन लोगों का निसाब उठा के आपको सुना रहे हैं जिन लोगों ने जब किताबें लिखी थी तो इस्लाम पहले ही सेंटर में एस्टेब्लिश था. All the books that you are going to refer to are by the writers who are writing in the time when Islam is already an established center. Pick up a scholar who is not from the center of the Islam, and then you'll find out what he's saying. He's saying move towards the center. And pick up a scholar who is after the breaking of the center of Islam, he'll be saying whatever I'm saying right now. That unless you have an established center, Adam al-Khalafa, Khabais. Every man will go through the khabasat of individual sins and curses and group dissonance. If there is no center backing it up, you're not worth a single dollar if the index is not calling it a dollar. And that's why there's going to be a problem in your psychology right now. And that is how serious the matter is. That's why, Aishman, when I say Pakistan, I focus, मेरी सारी उम्मीद पाकिस्तान से है. Because Pakistan on paper इस्लाम के लिए बना हुआ है. जान के हाँ, मैं जान के इधर हुआ था. क्यों? क्योंकि आपकी उस बात के ऊपर पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद का नारा मैं लगवा के ठीक कर सकता हूँ. अच्छा, एक बात बताएं, इस कंफ्यूजन का पलंदरे को मैं एक सेकंड में एड्रेस करता हूँ. एक ऐसा एट्रीब्यूट बताएं कि जिसमें मैं एक ऐसा जुमला बोलें जिसमें मिसाल दो. और सब सुन लें कि मैं इस काम को करते हुए अच्छा पाकिस्तानी और नेक मुसलमान दोनों इकट्ठे हो जाता हूँ. नहीं, मेरा सवाल समझ गए. एक कोई मिसाल नहीं जिससे कि पता चलता कि इस बात से पता चला है कि तुम एक अच्छे पाकिस्तानी हो. कोई एक ऐसा काम मैं करूं जिससे पता चले कि इस्लाम छोड़ें सर, इस्लाम का कोई ताल्लुक नहीं इस बात से, मगर तो एक अच्छा पाकिस्तानी तो है ना. मिसाल जो मर्जी बना देना, एक्सपीरियंस की जरूरत नहीं. I swear to God, मेरा पहला दिन ऑस्ट्रेलिया गया था, मैं होटल के बाहर खड़ा था, वो वेरबी में था. हॉलीडे के बाद मैंने ऐसे करके देखा है. मुझे पता क्या चाहिए था? ऑफिस वर्क है ना आपका, तो ऑफिस वर्क से मुझे पता नहीं क्या चाहिए था. मुझे क्या चाहिए था ऑफिस वर्क से? पहले दिन मैंने आपसे मांगा था टाइप सी केबल. और मैं ऐसे करके देख रहा हूँ, ऐसे करके के ऑफिस वर्क की तरह. इतने में दिस ओल्ड वुमन कम्स इन. पाकिस्तान में कभी भी नहीं ऐसे हो सकता. ओल्ड वुमन डजंट कम इन. ओके, I'm not saying old women are bad in Pakistan, but I'm saying if women not trained कि भाईजान कोई मदद की ज़रूरत है आपको, ऐसे पाकिस्तानी ख़वातीन नहीं कर सकती, क्योंकि उनको पता है फिर आदमी के का लिस्ट है मेरे पास. तो आंटी आई हैं आज तो मेरे पास, इसलिए आंटियाँ खुद ही होशियार. सुने this old woman came in and says, Lord, you need some help with that. And I said, help with what? She said, I saw you were looking for something. Random bystander. Okay? हर जगह पे हर तरह के लोग होते हैं. पाकिस्तान में लड़की को बचाने वाले सारे तेज हैं, लड़के को बचाने वाला कोई नहीं है। ओके, आप लड़कियां आप कह सकती हैं, हम बहुत प्रैक्टिस करके बस स्टॉप पे लड़कियां ढूंढ ढूंढ के थके हुए कि किसको कब तंग किया जा रहा है। ठीक है, लड़कों को नहीं, मजाक कर रहा हूं। तो इसका पाकिस्तानी होने से क्या ताल्लुक है? वो तो हर जगह पे होता है, इंडिया जाए वहां पे भी ऐसे होगा। मुझे कोई मिसाल दें जिसे यूनिक पाकिस्तानीपन दिखाया जाए। और इस दुनिया, आपको पता है ना, पाकिस्तान दुनिया का नंबर 1 चैरिटी गिविंग मुल्क हो गया है। तो चैरिटी क्यों बोल रहे हैं? 77वां नंबर है हमारा जी, बल्कि 82nd हो गया था इस साल। तो उधर भी फेल हम। कोई पाकिस्तानीपन, मैं बताता हूं पाकिस्तानीपन, कैंची ऐसे कर रहे हो, तलाक करा दी तूने मां बाप की। पाकिस्तानीपन। ठहरे ठहरे, मैंने आयतों की तरफ कमर की हुई है। मैं तो नहीं बचने वाला। पाकिस्तान में मतलब दोजख के रास्ते पाकिस्तान से गुजरते, मतलब कुछ भी काम होना, कोई भी दोजख दोजख, तो वो दोजख का मेन दरवाजा पाकिस्तानियों ने खोल दिया है। किसी ने दोजख जाना हो, कराची लैंड करो, वापसी पे दोजख। मुकाबला किसी भी मुल्क का किसी से नहीं है, मुकाबला इस्लाम का फलसफे के साथ है। वो फलसफे से मैंने निकालना है आपको। मैं आ रहा हूं। थ्री बॉयज वो 2 मासी के बेटे रेस्टोरेंट से तो नहीं आया आप जी। गौर से सुने अल्लाह ताला क्या कह रहे हैं। अल्लाह ताला यहां पे क्या कह रहे हैं, गौर से सुने। अल्लाह ताला का एक्सप्रेशन देखें, समझ लें। अल्लाह ताला क्या, इंग्लिश पढ़ लें, मैं अभी अरबी सुनाता हूं आपको। अल्लाह ताला कह रहे हैं, या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू मन यर्तद्द मिनकुम अन दीनिही फसौफ यअतिल्लाहु बिक़ौम, highlighted in red in the Arabic, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, if you believe, you believe, whoever among you abandons, यहाँ पे भी इंग्लिश में क्या लिखा है, abandons their faith, abandons their faith लिखा अल्लाह ने। look at that in Arabic, where does it say ईमान? This is what they do. या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू मन यर्तद्द मिनकुम अन दीनिही फसौफ यअतिल्लाहु। सिस्टम चेंज करोगे, दीन सिस्टम होता है ना, अरबी में दीन सिस्टम वो कहते हैं। यहां पे क्या लिख दिया, ईमान। अगर सिस्टम हटाओगे तो अल्लाह ताला किसको लेके आएगा, तुमसे बेहतर किसी और कौम को लेके आ जाएगा, जिसका सिस्टम यहां पे नाफिज करोगे। ओथ में खड़े होकर सुना रहे होगे, आई बिलीव गॉड सेव द क्वीन, kangaroos, koalas, wallabies. I don't know what you guys have here in the oath. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu man yartadda minkum an dinihi fasawfa ya'ti Allah is going to bring better upon you. Become who? Kaum, people. People कौन कौन होती है? सिस्टम। जिस कौम का, मैं और ब्राजील वाले कौम में नहीं, मैं और किसी और तरह के लोग कौम में होने चाहिए ना, जिनका फलसफा एक हो, जिनका सिस्टम एक हो। अल्लाह ताला वो कह रहे, युहिब्बुहुम व युहिब्बूनहु व ज़िल्लतिन अलल मुमिनीना इज़्ज़तिन अलल काफिरीन। वो दिस इज अ big problem, especially for little girls who are born here, because then it's, Allah is saying, युजाहिदूना फी सबिलिल्लाहि वला यखाफूना लौमता लाइम। You know what that means, Maha? Yakhafuna lawmata laim? That no matter what they say against Islam, I will have absolutely no fear to get affected by their blame. And that's why you see apologetics on P.S. Morgan shows and I don't know what not going on, explaining, हमास ने बच्चे नहीं मारे, हमास ने बच्चे नहीं मारे। जवाब सवाल ये था, हमास ने कम बड़े क्यों मारे हैं, ये सवाल कोई कर नहीं रहा। हमास ने बच्चे नहीं मारे वाले बैनर लेके सारे आ गए। सेम इस्राएल के ज्यू नबी इस्लाम के सामने खड़े हुए, सेम, जिसका कहते ना बदला लेंगे। हुआ क्या था पता है आपको? ये आयत आई है, नबी अलैहिस्सलाम ने कहा, साद, you were speaking here and Allah was speaking same sentence in the seventh heaven. ये है गजा की कहानी जो 1400 साल पहले हुई थी. When Banu Qurayza says we're gonna strike Muslims where it hurts, गज़वा अहज़ाब के ऊपर, और साद बिन माज was the head of Aus. He was very close to Banu Qurayza. When Banu Qurayza were caught, लंबी स्टोरी करके छोटी बता रहा हूँ, Banu Qurayza said, साद से कहो वो हमारा फैसला करे, मोहम्मद नहीं फैसला करेंगे, साद से कहो फैसला कर लें, हमारी बस ये गुजारिश है. And Saad is standing on the left of the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ is standing on the right. And Saad bin Maaz says, you want me to do justice upon you Jews, and I will do justice from the book that you believe in, not the book that I do, so that you would know it is true justice. And then he says, Maha looks up and says, if the people on the right have no objections, which is the Prophet ﷺ, I am going to decree upon them the punishment from Torah, not the Quran. Okay? And from today onwards, every born human being will have the weapons to shoot at Islam. Saad bin Mal saying that. Islamophobia ki bina pad rahi hai. Everyone will blame Muslims for whatever I'm about to decide. So, oh Allah, make me oblivious. لَقَدْ آنَ لِسَعْدٍ. This is the exact word. Listen to what he's saying. Read this ayah in red. لَقَدْ آنَ لِسَعْدٍ أَنْ لَا تَأْخُذَهُ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. He looks up and says, Ya Allah, لَقَدْ آنَ لِسَعْدٍ أَنْ لَا تَأْخُذَهُ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. And Prophet said, you were saying this here, Allah Azza wa Jalla was saying this upstairs. يُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. That you do not get scared of anything except Allah. That's it. You're all for Allah. No matter what people are going to say. Yeah. 1900 people killed one day in cold blood because of mutiny? Yes. 1900 people? Yes. और ये हमास टेररिस्ट लगे हुए हैं, मुस्लिम अपॉलजिस्ट. सो ये कोई और पार्ट है इस आयत का. जो असली पार्ट है जिसको आपको दिखाना था वो क्या है? अल्लाह इज सेइंग, ओ पीपल, you are a single centered people, you're a qawm, come on, you gotta come up with a, if you're not gonna behave like that, I'm gonna change you. This is Surah Muhammad. Allah is saying, if you're not going to do this, I am going to replace you. Tabdeel. Change you. Replace you with people who are better than you. And then he did. Okay? He has given us all the recipes. We're not doing it. And he's going to. And we are not going to be able to do anything about it. How? Because Ar-Rad, Surah Ar-Rad, Allah Ta'ala says, Allah is not going to intervene in these affairs. Unless you start, I'm not gonna. I am not gonna. If you don't act like people, you start acting like individuals, I'm not helping you. Allah does not help the prophets, alayhi salam. Allah does not help the sahabas. Allah only helps Islam. Whoever is inside Islam gets the help. That's the sunnah of Allah. Everybody knows this. And this is why Allah is saying that unless you yourself come together, put the center in, revolve around it, Allah does not change the plight of a nation which does not want or does change itself. खुद नहीं करेंगे, अल्लाह नहीं करेगा. अल्लाह ताला ने कहा यही तो टेस्ट है भाई. और क्या टेस्ट है? क्या बच्चे ने आयत पढ़ी आज? बच्चे ने यही आयत पढ़ी. इन्ना अरदना अल-अमानता अला as-samawati wal-ardi wal-jibal फअबैना अन यहमिलहा वअशफaqna मिनहा वहमलहा al-इंसान. Zen, किधर है Zen? What is he doing? He's purposely, priming with my psychology. सिडनी में भी था बच्चा. Comes and changes the way I want to present this. So he recited this ayah today. That we present it to you? No. You came to us. We presented it to everything, every creation that we had. You, oh, humans, you came to me and you said, we want to take this challenge downstairs. We want to take the burden. Give it to us. Especially Muslim kids born in Australia. They never know this. The Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that you, Maha, came to Allah and you said, God, give me this responsibility. You know this current atheistic mindset that, you know what, I didn't ask to come here. Why should I be grateful? Look at all the problems, you know, kids dying, disease, illness, sickness, corruption. And you want me to be grateful? Allah is saying, yeah, I didn't want you to be grateful. That's for your own good. You're the one who asked for this. You walked this line yourself by your own choice. Now you cannot say, oh, बस मैं एक सर लाचार सा आदमी हूँ, मेरे से क्या हो सकता है? आप लाचार है, सबसे पहले इकट्ठे हो सकते हैं. या आप लाचार है, सबसे पहले अपने बच्चों को डेफिनेशंस क्लियर करके दे सकते हैं. आपसे सबसे पहला सवाल ये होना. And you all know, उठाएं गूगल करें इस वक्त, जाएं ऑस्ट्रेलिया किसी मस्जिद में, हो 2 जुम्मे पढ़ चुका हूं मैं इधर. क्या कह रहे? हमसे तो सवाल नहीं होना गजा का, ये तो गवर्नमेंट से होता है. Muslim scholars are literally saying these words, कि Muslim man and woman, sorry, no question asked, don't worry about it. Good job, good job. You cry? Good job. You pray? Good job. You pray for them? Oh, you cry? Oh, such an awesome Muslim. May Allah increase your iman. You are a crier and a prayer? You think that's what a Muslim is? रो के रातों को तहज्जुद में टकरे मार मार के रोने वाला, ये इस्लाम है हमारा. This is what's going to save Gaza. You think we're going to call in the angels? Airstrikes? वो कर रहे हैं एयर स्ट्राइक्स, हम नहीं कर रहे हैं. हम दुआएं कर रहे हैं. और हमसे क्या कह रहे हैं उसको इस वक्त करें, क्योंकि उनका कसूर नहीं है. वो समझते हैं इस्लाम ही यही है. And that's why I said Gaza is suffering from you and me. Me and you, I am the guy I am the cancer, who's not clarifying to everyone that this is going to create bigger Gazas than to solve them. Okay? So, I'm going to give you a case study now. How system is established. इससे पहले कुछ सवाल हो तो पूछ लें, क्योंकि ये सिस्टम की केस स्टडी मैं आपको बहुत आसान से बताता हूं, क्योंकि इसमें सोल्यूशन भी देना मैंने. Hold on. Here is the, yes sir, पूछिए.
सर, आपकी बातों से लगता है कि बहुत एक अच्छा मुसलमान है, he has to be an extremist.
Extremist. Strict. You mean disciplined?
But when you come talking about the parenting, then you tell us that you have to be lenient as well.
Lenient till the 7th-year-old. रगड़ा तो देना है आपने. 12-14 साल का नखरे वाला जो शहजादा सलीम पाल रहे हैं ना, वो हम सब कैंसर है वो. स्पेशली बॉयज रगड़ा दें. 12+ को तकलीफ शुरू. पेन बाय डिजाइन. ओके, यस. हाँ, वो गलत टाइम पे बॉम्बिंग कर देगी उस बेचारे पे, गलत टाइम पे.
So what I'm getting is a good Muslim can't be a lenient person.
In these days and this day and age, are you kidding me? A good Jew cannot be a lenient Jew. In this day and age, we are actually going through a lot. Muslim पे तो बहुत बड़ी demands हैं. I'll show you how people come together and do those 4 things which I was telling you. वो 4 things solution में है. अब अभी आपको बताऊंगा आपने क्या करना है इंशाल्लाह. कि इन्होंने क्या किया है अभी दिखा देता हूँ. This is how they actually. This is not an anti-Semitic. I am praising the hell out of Jews right now. Okay, praising them. Stop cursing the Jews. पूछे.
I think probably you started off by saying that we should not beat Bush. To be very honest, I'm still trying to get you coming as straight, giving the solution, because I'm still looking for it.
Here's the slide. Listen, let me just show you the solution. ये मुझे स्लाइड चला देंगे दोबारा.
One of the unwise one among the group, but so far I'm still looking forward to you to give us a straight solution. I think you have talked about this.
This is the solution slide. I'm going to put it in the end, okay?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying we thought you were talking about not beating the bush, but I'm still looking forward for a straight answer.
Yeah, you said it twice, so I'm going to answer this. I ignored it the first one. Listen.
Just just one more thing. You talked about the system. I understood that you're talking about the system, but sorry to say, but a lot of things that you mentioned are part of the system. You talked about prayers, you talked about empathy, you talked about a lot of things, and you were literally, I felt like you were undermining those things.
What's your name, sir? What's your name?
All of the individual things that you do. So you're talking about.
आपका नाम क्या आपका? Umar. Umar, I need you to construct this argument into smaller phrases because this is the best question of the day. And I need to talk to you, and the best place is you're sitting on so that everybody can listen. Okay? ये छोड़ना नहीं आपने. Remind me, make sure you interrupt me. When I'm done with this case study, we need to talk about this. Okay? This is the solution. Okay? I have this right in front of you. I'm going to give it to you, and we're going to work on this. But I need to show you how it works first. I don't. इसके बाद लेता हूँ. We'll start with Umar and we'll take your questions. Don't worry. This is the scattered diaspora of the Jews right now. Muslims का इससे बड़ा है. Muslims का तो पता भी नहीं चलेगा. Umar, गौर से सुनना. I was in Sydney and I said, how many Muslims are there in Australia? And they were like, registered? I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean registered? I said, sir, Australian Muslims prefer not to disclose that they're Muslims. So we will never get the accurate count. You understand what I'm saying? See, the problem is bigger than you and I can actually discuss in this kind of hall, in this kind of time. My friend, Muslims are ashamed of being even Muslims. Forget Pakistani Aisha or Ayashmin.
Is there any authentic source, what you just said?
Yeah, Sydney. No, it's not random. It's not random.
There has to be some sort of proof or some sort of, backing.
Okay, listen, what you're asking me for, what you're asking me, sir, listen, think what you're asking me. Think about it. Sir, you're not thinking what you're asking me. Think about what you're asking me. That people who do not declare themselves Muslims, prove it. Australia can't even prove it. How can I? Australian government says declare they don't. Nobody can prove it.
No, as a public speaker, you just mentioned.
That Sydney people.
No, you just quoted something which.
From Sydney. Not something, I'm going to tell you what it is. Sydney people.
Yeah, Sydney people. Who? What Sydney people?
Can I just answer?
I'm sorry, I've been rude. If I'm rude, I'll be sorry.
Okay, let me tell you, let me do a little survey, sir. You know what, listen. This is a public session, so I'm going to respect every question. Do you all, any one of you, think that there is a possibility that you know of, heard of, that people don't declare themselves as Muslims? Yes. So it's not just Sydney then, it's Melbourne and Sydney now. Okay? So that's the only source we can get. I'll tell you what. Yeah. What I'm saying is, this is something even government of Australia cannot prove because they don't declare. If they had declared, then I would have been like, you know what, let me check the records. Okay, this is very serious. Hold on. It's okay. Most of you guys have declared that you're Muslims. Don't worry. What are you worried about? It's all right. Look at this.
She wants to try something, sorry. She wants to try something,
Okay, come on. Never stand up for a man or a woman. We only stand up for Allah. Okay? It's all right.
I have lived in most of, I'm living in Australia for 45 years.
20? 45? So you came with the, okay.
My husband came in 77.
77, 1977?
Finished PhD. And so we lived in Sydney, Wollongong, Adelaide, Perth, almost everywhere, and now we're in Melbourne.
So what's your question, ma'am?
There's a state that we have.
Oh, आपको उर्दू आती है? 45 years. Go on. जो के नहीं करना पसंद करते. Oh, okay. No, वो तो हमने अचीव कर लिया ये एक notion तो it's not just in the air. I mean, you know why I like this guy and I respect this guy? Because he felt it कि ये कैसे मैं मान लूँ? मेरे पे भी यही गुजरी थी जो आप पे गुजरी है कि ये कैसे हो सकता है. By the way, I've lived in Europe, Canada, America, even China. Even Uyghur Muslims don't do that. Only Australian Muslims are doing that. Okay, well, Uyghur Muslims do that now.
I think we need to stop taking questions. 8 बजे अगर आपने हॉल बंद करना है, you're not going to finish your lecture.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is the diaspora. You know what diaspora is? The split, the spread. This is real stats. Okay. Now, here is the pressure on them. The pressure. Everybody says, no, this is not your identity. You know what that is? Israel. Their center. Everybody says, no, we're not going to let it happen. We don't recognize it, don't respect it, no. Some do. Of course, Australia does. Ironic, isn't it, that I started from Australia and the case study is got this blue Australian flag here. And then, just read into this. Not just the Muslim thing. Most of the world does not behave. This is how the world is behaving. Let me show you. This is how the world is behaving around Israel. Okay? Read into this. This is too small. I'm going to read this. Pick a country. Any country. Japan. Look at Japan. Our favorite country. The country with standards. Okay? Japan. Here's Japan. This is Japan. Okay? This is Japan. Japan, the blue is positive. People like and get positive effects from Israel's policies and presence. Japan 1 year, 2012, Japan, and now Japan. So Japanese hate the Israelis. Okay? India. Okay, no. India didn't used to like it. But then they started growing, and now they're really grown into Israel. Except jab tak Modi zinda hai. This is कौन है ये बाहर आओ. You get that now? You get the 3 case studies I did, and now you see the blue and the yellow. Now find out blue कहाँ पे ज़्यादा है. अभी क्वेश्चन ले लें. क्वेश्चन है. I'm trying to construct a point here. Look at this and see the yellow against the blue. USA is 50-50. Actually, inside USA, Israeli support is going down drastically. Okay? Now, really? Where's Pakistan? Like, really? जब तक PTI नहीं आई थी तो हम बहुत एंटी इसराइल थे. अब बोले ना, शाबाश. किधर है PTI वाले? या बातें करना आसान होता है बेटा. इमरान खान दिस एंड दैट. PTI के टाइम पे ही प्रो इसराइल सेंटिमेंट बढ़ा बस. उससे पहले तो इसराइल के खिलाफ बातें करके वोट लेते होते थे नवाज शरीफ वगैरह. ओके? No, it's okay. I like Imran Khan better than the rest of the goons. Okay? Don't worry. As a person. Okay? See, now this is, imagine करें पाकिस्तान के बारे में sentiments हों. पाकिस्तान के बारे में भी यही सेंटिमेंट्स हैं बाय द वे. मैंने खाली नाम इसराइल का रखा हुआ है. ये पाकिस्तान का चार्ट है. गिरी है ना बिजली. बट चूंकि मैं पॉलिटिकल साइंस के लेक्चर में नहीं हूं तो ऐसे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स नहीं कर रहा हूं. ये इसराइल का ही है. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम Israel is trying to solve. That's why I want you to be active on social media and media. Now, think like an Israeli right now. Think like a Jew. Okay? This is what they had to do. Make sure you understand. I told you solution की slide आ रही है. ये है solution की slide. Unless a Muslim scholar, unless a Muslim parent, and unless a Muslim teacher is giving you these 4 things in the same time, he is going to corrupt the very core of your worth in Islam.
Sir, that's what I'm trying to say. The parents or the teachers, they've been, the West work on that. Because obviously they always get away the truth, like, get away the... उर्दू में बताएं. Actually, उनको जो पाकिस्तान get the people away from the Islamic, the true Islamic studies.
उर्दू में बताएं, उर्दू में बताएं।
तो वो कह रहे थे जो पाकिस्तानी जो हमारे टीचर्स हैं और जो
वो कह रहे हैं, कौन कह रहे हैं?
पेरेंट्स हैं, what I'm saying is कि जो
पेरेंट्स ने क्या किया है?
पाकिस्तानी के ऊपर काम हो रहा है शुरू से, like I'm not justifying, but जो वेस्ट है, जो यहूदी है, जो इसराइलीज है, from the beginning of 19th century.
नो, नहीं, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है, बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल है। उससे भी पहले जाएं, उससे पहले जाएं।
आपकी ड्यूटी नहीं थी कि you should correct yourself, but still
मैं आपकी ताईद में बात कर रहा हूं। आई एम अग्रीइंग विद यू।
अभी तक आपकी जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ still they are doing the same thing. And it's been going on since beginning.
ओके,
अपनी अम्मी को और मेरी अम्मी को और किसी भी खीर की अम्मी को आप गलत नहीं कह सकते, because they are actually
विक्टिम्स। और ये विक्टिम मेंटालिटी तो हमारा कैंसर है ना, तो विक्टिम को गलत क्यों नहीं कहेंगे?
मैं अपनी अम्मी को आप अपनी अम्मी को गलत क्यों कहेंगे?
क्योंकि वो गलत हैं। मेरी अम्मी होना तो कोई असूल नहीं है। साहिल की अम्मी हो तो सही होगी, जो गलत है वो गलत है, चाहे वो अम्मी हो, अब्बू हो, बेटा हो, भाई हो। बेटा बच्चे होते हैं विक्टिम, विक्टिम बच्चे होते हैं, बड़ा विक्टिम नहीं हो सकता। उसकी अम्मी क्यों ठीक है? मस्जिद के मौलवी की अम्मी क्यों गलत है?
आप जो पाकिस्तान स्टडीज पढ़ते हैं, आपके जो वो है उसमें गलत है। आप जो आपका मौलवी गलत आपको बोलता है, तो आप सही बात सुनो, आप तो हमेशा गलत ही सुनते हैं।
कुरान से, सीरा से। अभी के लिए मैं आपकी बात को इसलिए सही कह रहा हूं ताकि मैं इस साइड पे जो मैंने बात गलत आपकी जी I'm kidding, okay, I'm kidding. जी, I'm not kidding, but I have to do that. वो सुने, आप लोगों को मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया क्यों आया हूं बताने, दुनिया में क्यों जा रहा हूं, अलग अलग मुल्कों में, देयर इज अ रीजन फॉर इट। पाकिस्तान में ये चारों काम नहीं हो सकते, और आपको बाहर हमने इसीलिए भेजा था बेटो कि कमाऊ पूछ, शाबाश, कॉम्पिटेंट बन, हमें डॉलर चाहिए, हमें आपके बच्चों के IQ चाहिए। We do not want those dumb Mia wali kids growing up or Lahori kids Islamabad. We want the Canberra kids to gain the political acumen. वर्ल्ड व्यू जीरो करते हैं पाकिस्तान में हम सबको, हम सिर्फ नवाज शरीफ, इमरान खान देखते हैं। किसी भी एक मुसलमान पाकिस्तानी जो पाकिस्तान में पूछें फलस्तीन का कुछ भी पता है और कहेगा कुछ नहीं पता, इसराइल का कुछ भी पता है, काफिर है, बस ये पता। नथिंग, डमेस्ट पर्सन इन द अफेयर्स ऑफ द एक्चुअल अफेयर्स ऑफ द सिस्टम्स गोइंग ऑन। जैसे आपको भी डॉलर का नहीं पूछा था, so they don't know that here इसराइल के सबसे बड़े सपोर्टिंग मुल्क में बैठ के आपको इसराइल का नहीं पता चला अभी तक, which is Australia. Really? दिल बैठ रहा, are you, this is not, it's not about Jewish, it's about your knowledge. I hope you know what's going on in the world, right? Okay, where's Fatima? Okay, Fatima मेरे पास ही आ जाओ। I want to talk to kids here. If there is no moral capital, okay, you cannot be a Muslim. Moral capital का मतलब होता है moral base. How to develop that moral capital? I'll give it to you, don't worry. हम आप सबको हम एक ग्रुप में बना के WhatsApp में शामिल करेंगे। I'm going to address every news, the way it's going on, every technique that we're trying to implement with you will share, will go live. You want to attend those sessions, you want to speak on those sessions, come together. हमने सिडनी को कनेक्ट किया आपस में, कैमरा को कनेक्ट किया है, और अब मेलबर्न को कनेक्ट करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। Through one WhatsApp group, I am going to make sure I'll be part of that. मैं किसी और WhatsApp ग्रुप में ऐसे नहीं शामिल होता था। We will talk, we will debate. Unless we debate, political acumen ऊपर नहीं जाने वाला, mental acumen ऊपर नहीं जाने वाला। पाकिस्तान का सिर्फ एक मॉडल है कि बाप से सवाल नहीं करते बेटा, और इसलिए क्या होता है, बच्चा बाप से कम IQ का परवान चढ़ता है। यह बहुत बड़ा मसला है। शौहर से सवाल नहीं करते, मैं समझ सकता हूं, तलाक का मामला है, बाप से कौन सी तलाक होती है? आप क्या होता है फिर? आपने देखे नहीं टेढ़े मुंह वाले बच्चे, मुझसे कभी भी ये जोक पूरा नहीं हुआ। तेरे मुंह वाले बच्चे वो होते हैं जिनके ग्रेड्स बहुत अच्छे आते हैं दुनिया में, क्योंकि वो सवाल बहुत करते हैं। ज़ाहिर मुंह तो टेढ़ा होता है, बाप मारता बहुत है उनको, मगर ग्रेड्स दुनिया में बहुत अच्छे इनके दर्जात होते हैं। थोड़े दांत तुड़वा लें, मगर पाकिस्तानी बाप से सवाल जरूर करें कि अबू जी इस जो आपने बताया इसके पीछे साइंस क्या है, डॉलर का रेट कैसे बनता है, जरा बताएं तो सही।
जरा सा ऑफ टॉपिक सवाल।
अभी नहीं ऑफ टॉपिक अभी नहीं। हाथ ऊपर ही रखें, हाथ ऊपर ही रखें, जो भी ऑफ टॉपिक सवाल करेगा सजा मिलनी चाहिए। हाथ ऊपर ही रखें। रुके इसको पूरा कर लेने दें इसको। वोक आता हो तो वोक पे, yeah, I'll give you a little instrumentation for that, especially for people who are raising kids. Our kids are too woke for us. We get that. Too woke for us. Do not let it happen. जो देसी टेक्निक्स हम चला रहे हैं ना, वो अभी मत कीजिएगा, वरना बच्चे रिबेलियस होके आपको छोड़ देंगे। और आपको छोड़ दें कोई बात नहीं, इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाएंगे, मगर आपका फलसफा भी छोड़ देंगे, आपकी वैल्यूज भी छोड़ देंगे, और सबसे बड़ी बात आपका दीन भी छोड़ देंगे। ओके, आता हूं। आपके ये चारों कैपिटल्स प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रहे आपके घर से, तो आप बीमारी हैं। यू आर द प्रॉब्लम आई एम गोइंग टू सॉल्व। ओके, या ओके, थैंक यू फॉर रिमाइंडिंग मी दैट, यू राइट। ले गए थे ना मुझे, मेरे का एक मछली पूरे तालाब को ना खराब कर दी। ये उर्दू में बोल के ना सारा मेरा इंग्लिश तुड़वा दिया, मुझे इंग्लिश ही नहीं याद रही। मोरल कैपिटल, political capital, most of all, financial capital, and last but not least, the mental capital. This is the mental. अब ये solution समझ आ गया? I'm going to explain to you bit by bit. Don't worry about it. I'm going to literally show it to you first. Here's the demonstration. The demonstration of the Muslim model, the original purpose. Except they don't believe in the Quran. Okay? This is where they were. This is how they were, and I just showed you what the problems are in the other slide. And now this is how they actually established step 1. शुरू से हमें बताया गया यहूदी तो 2 नंबर चोर होता है, सिर्फ लंबी नाक नहीं लंबी जेब भी होती है, हर जगह से पैसे इकट्ठे कर रहा होता है, जब मौका मिलता है 2 नंबर से। That's not true. They put competence first. Their products were better looking, better performing. Their processes were better. They were inspiring other people to make better companies as well. They put the right people in the right place. They worked real hard to do what? They had a vision. They had a vision of Israel. They had a vision of the center. They ran their numbers right. They ran their people right. And what they did was now they're getting dividends. And still, their center is demanding trillions of dollars. It's okay. They're happy to give. मैं तो कनाडा से हूँ, strongest of those lobbies pump more dollars to Israel from Canada than anywhere else. I'm just talking through experience here, so I cannot prove it to you. But I've worked with every other company. Why? They were religiously doing that. Their purpose was coming from Torah, the book. Their purpose was coming through the prophets that they believe, which we believe as well. Now, 4th most successful economy, really? Is it not surprising for you? 4th most successful in the world. You know how big Israel is? Anybody knows? This is, look at the years, 88 to 2028. Look at the incline on the graph. I'm not going to go in that kind of detail because, not everybody understands economy, but GDP is the only real weapon. Any other weapon is not going to work if this weapon does not work. Everyone who has any sense knows that Pakistan has nuclear arms. They're not going to work, buddy, because the real weapon doesn't work. They realized it, and now they are laughing at us. Are you big nukes? You got nukes? Do you have buttons? Yeah, but do you have fingers to push those buttons? No, we don't. Oh, so you're going to take your selfies with those nukes and go to sleep and say you're the nuclear Muslim power and do nothing about it? Yeah. We're not going to do nothing about it. We're actually going to literally make sure no one else does as well, because we're making sure this is not a useful entity in the bigger game. This is the bigger game. They do not have nukes. They have this. That's your financial capital. I'll tell you, this is the fourth pillar in detail. This is not the financial capital. These are real stats. You know what this is? This is the political capital, measured in dollars. Right place, right people at the right place. This Cambridge professor, यहाँ पे आपको एक कहानी ज़रूर सुना. I want you to all know this. Make sure your kids know this story. Very famous professor. Google him up, YouTube him. International policy का professor है. He says, I want to meet, because I'm like the die-hard Jew. I want to go to Tel Aviv and serve my purpose. And Rabbi Rambam was in America at that time, and I wanted to go and meet Rabbi Rambam. Rambam is like their... we don't have that level of sheikh in the last, at least, Imam Ghazali. Well, Ghazali was the son of Ibn al-Qayyim. No, Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa is Rabbi Rambam. Okay? Imagine Abu Hanifa being alive right now. This is what Jews went through when Rabbi Rambam was there. When he died in Mount Sinai, the hospital, people in the world, Jews said, he didn't die, he's going to come back. He went to meet the Lord. Jews who believe in the real God, right? हमारे वाले रब को मानते हैं. They said, नहीं, इसको तो ये तो मसीहा है, ये तो मर ही नहीं सकता. This is how big Rambam is. So this Jewish professor, Cambridge, okay, who is a consultant on many UN policies, foreign policies of many countries, he says, I want to meet religious reasons, and he didn't get an appointment, and so he chased it. 3 months later, he got an appointment for 10 minutes. He flew over to America. He got to meet Rabbi Rambam. Look at how you need to look at your kids, okay? That's how you look at your kids. You're going to do just fine. You ask me how to do that? This is how you do that. Rambam is going to tell you. Chief Rabbi Rambam is telling us how to do that. This professor says, what do you want to ask me? And he says, I want to go to Tel Aviv. I cry in the heart. I want to go to the Wailing Wall myself. I want to spend my time as a Jew. I've done everything. I'm on the top of the food chain. I chair, literally, the most important person in Cambridge right now, England. And Rambam says, whoa, hold on. Are you telling me that you want to come to Tel Aviv to what? To serve Israel? Your cause, your purpose? Yeah. And he says, thank God we met now. Shukar hai mulaqat ho gayi. He says, you want to serve Tel Aviv? You serve Tel Aviv by being in Cambridge. Make sure you are the most competent voice in the next 10 years. We're planning for the next 10 years. We need help from Cambridge. We need help from Harvard. We need the voice and the hand behind the policy which is going to affect anything which you're planning to do right now. Is it rocket science? No. Common sense की बात नहीं की उसने कि तू भाई इतना बड़ा न्यूक्लियर मिसाइल है, तू उधर बैठा हुआ, इधर आके पिस्तौल बनना चाह रहा खाली, वो भी नहीं बनेगा. तेरे दीवार पे टक्करे मारने से क्या हो जाएगा इसराइल को? उधर बहुत आते हैं. You see what I'm saying now? This is what he did then. This professor is behind these numbers. Look at these numbers. पूरी दुनिया के मुल्क एक तरफ. All those countries combined and Israel alone. This is why no one is saying anything against whatever's going on in Gaza officially. This is the chart. Officially, they cannot say that. Why? That one professor never left Cambridge. He became the most competent person. 7 amendments in the UN resolutions. He single-handedly. 4 मुल्कों की foreign policy वो बनाता है, including Norway. That's political capital through mental capital. And our kids don't even know Israel नक्शे में किधर है. Imagine this. So that's how system is made. Look, 954 individuals who are ethnically Jews, raised as Jewish household, Orthodox Jews की बात हो रही है. 954 Jews won what? The Nobel Prize. That's more than any other ethnicity. 22% of all Nobel Prize goes to it. And you think Tel Aviv, Benjamin Netanyahu is behind this? No, these people are behind this. They set it up so well. When they speak, everybody listens because they make sense. They are the science behind rocket science. Literally, Einstein, eh? They are the science behind rocket science. And we are the science behind Bahu and science. Saas Bahu. That's all our kids are amounting to be. माँ को बैलेंस कर लूँ या बीवी को मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ अल्लाह तुमने क्या इम्तहान दिए मैं Imagine the difference. E equals MC squared. मेरी अम्मी नाराज हो गई हैं बहन ने फ़ोन कर दिया अम्मी को बीवी से अम्मी नाराज हो गई E equals MC squared. This is a man versus man in his 30s. This is what the difference with असली लड़ाई ये हो रही है Muslim Nobel Prize winners भी हैं E equals MC squared, you know, Kepler's laws, thermodynamics, और मुंह पे गोली खाई है. So you were at the wrong place at the wrong time? Yeah, get me a Nobel Prize. Einstein was at the right place at the worst time and he changed the world. And Muslims, we get shot. We're good at getting shot. We're awesome at getting shot. Give us the biggest prize. This is the only Muslim Nobel Prize list, by the way. All women, obviously. उन्होंने तो गोलियां खानी हमसे हमारे मार दो औरतों को ही मारते हैं सोचें जरा okay. Look at this. I don't, the medal I respect. I don't respect the Nobel Prize. I respect the Fields Medal. This is the list of the Jews. By design, they're working. कि किस तरीके से मेरा मिशन के ऊपर मैं मेरी वर्थ क्या है? What am I worth? What am I worth in the bigger system? ये है जी वो Fields Medal. You know what Fields Medal is, right? Mathematics, Nobel Prize of Mathematics. The real brain work, the real IQ. Muslim.
Why don't you count Dr. Abdul Salam as a Muslim scientist? Nobel Prize award.
Who? Yeah, he got a shared prize. That's why I didn't make this list. I got it literally from. Yeah. So okay, we have half a prize. Okay, we have half a prize.
Then he became non-Muslim only because of Constitution of Pakistan.
Okay, let's just say okay, we have a prize. I give you that. Bigger point of the story.
I'm not a Qadiani, but I'm just giving you the fact that Dr. Abdul Salam, when he got a Nobel Prize, he was a Muslim at that time. Then the Constitution of Pakistan made him a non-Muslim.
I'll tell you something. You know when they give the Fields Medal, focus. Okay, we have a Muslim Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Abdul Salam. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but you know what the point I'm trying to make here, right? When you give the Fields Medal, when you receive the Fields Medal, you have to take your picture in front of a Muslim man. Okay? When you receive a Fields Medal, you have to stand in front of a Muslim man to take a picture so that they can frame it and give it to you that you actually won the Fields Medal. A memory. You know who that Muslim man is? The father of mathematics, Al-Khwarizmi. Output of a system. When the system was in its full blow, they produced Khwarizmis and Ibn al-Haythams and Hayans and Sinas. That's the benefit of a system. So, this is the political acumen, political capital. This is just the alphabetical order. I did not want to go through the chronological order. This is how active Jewish kids are. What is our kids doing? Cooking. cleaning, most of the time, YouTubing of how to cook and clean. Okay, makeups, looking good, nothing else. And their kids are debating. And I'm not comparing kids to kids. I'm talking about systems to system. Make sure you understand that. I'm not here talking about parenting right now. I'm talking about philosophy. Cognitive dissonance can only be solved if you have the right philosophy. If you can only take the right framework to home today, it's not going to get my job done. Philosophy and framework at the same time. Otherwise, framework's not going to make sense to your kids. This is political capital. Ever since 90 years. This is just 90-year data I'm giving you. 90 saal. Okay? Now, how do I do that? How do I always do that? Mental capital है ना, खराब कर दूंगा. मशीन यहूदी ने बनाई है, मुसलमान चला नहीं सक रहा. So, 4 things. Your IQs have to be IQs, little IQs. Nothing, koi rocket science, fancy words, IQ. Has to be 20 points more than we are at right now. My kids' IQ have to be 20 points more than where my IQ bands are at my generation. Literally. Our average IQs are between 80 and 100. Literally. 110, oh my God, genius. Regular human beings in the planet, Europeans, regular IQs, 120, 135. क्या करूं मैं मर्सिडीज का मैरान से कैसे मुकाबला कराऊं? How can I actually make a machine that big compete? Hardware deficiency remove नहीं हो सकती. You cannot help that child. If he's 80, okay, he's going to be a worker. He's not going to be a leader anymore. We reduce the IQ. So mental capital starts from the age of 0. Mental capital is a 15-year-old process, nothing more. The shortest thing that you can do, the shortest span of your work, is your child from 0 to 15. That's it. Mothers, your job. Fathers, you take over after this. Your mental capital of the child, hardware is created by the mommy. Software created by the daddy. But mommies are literally sitting on the heads of their kids as infants because they have to watch their morning shows and talk politics about domestic issues. You need to structure your parenthood. That first 15 years, whole ummah needs this boy or a girl. Whole ummah needs it. I need to raise the IQ. That's how they're thinking. हमारा सेंटर बना ही नहीं, उनका बन चुका हुआ है, हमारा बनाना है. We have 10 times more job, for God's sakes. Create that acumen. Who's going to benefit? Of course, you're going to benefit from a smarter child than a dumb child, right? I mean, it's not a wrong thing to do to begin with, even if you didn't want to have a purpose. Even if you didn't want to do it for Islam, I was thinking, why are you not doing it for even just your own child? Raise his IQ. Okay, let me just get to that slide so that I can go into pieces for those 3 boys who just said, peanut. Where is it? Here. Facilitate the critical thinking of the child. Sawal पूछना बंद न करें. Facilitate it. If he or she asks you a question which you do not know the answer of, that means you're doing a good job. If you do not know the answer, जब बच्चा आपसे सवाल करता है, आपका फादरहुड अल्लाह के यहाँ मुतबर हो रहा है कि सही कर रहे हो, जगह पे लेके आ रहे हो. वो आपसे भी ऊपर जाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, मतलब unintentionally, कि अब आपके IQ बैंड ऊपर. But we make sure we do not let him ask those questions. Why? Because सबसे पहले बच्चा क्या करता है? The first question he asks, अल्लाह किसने बनाया? आप कहते हो blasphemy. ये ब्लास्फेमी है. बच्चा पूछे अल्लाह को किसने बनाया? इससे अच्छा कोई सवाल है? इतना बड़ा मौका अल्लाह को दे रहे उस बच्चे की पूरी नफ्सियात क्रिएट कर देगा, क्लियर मुस्लिम बनाने का. दुनिया में नहीं कहीं उसको हरा सकेगा. आपने उसको सबसे पहले मरवा दिया. ब्लास्फेमी है कि अल्लाह को किसने बनाया. और क्या पूछे हो? Why is Islam the only truth? Your kids are asking you these questions. The best question, especially in Australia. If you cannot answer, it's okay, get the answers. Your job as parents is not to know all the answers. You're not Einsteins of physics and chemistry and biology and Islam. Who's asking you to have all the answers? Get them the answers. If you don't know the answer, that's a moment of victory. Celebrate it. कि बेटा तूने तो मुझसे वो सवाल किया तेरा बाप भी नहीं जानता. Let me, give you some money for it or prize or, appreciate you. And now let's go to the scholars of physics or Islam or wherever the question is coming from. मगर no, heroism challenge हो गया मेरा. इसको अगर ये लग गया कि बाप ना अहल है तो कल से मुझसे कोई सवाल नहीं करेगा. हम कोई भी नहीं सवाल कर रहे हैं अंकल आपसे. बचपन से हमारे क्लास फेलोज ही बताते आए हमें दुनिया के सारे सवालों के जवाब. इसीलिए ये हालात हुए हैं. हम सबको पता बॉयज, अब्बू से अब्बा की कन्वर्जन दोस्तों के साथ ही होती है. अब्बे को कुछ नहीं आता. We know that. I mean, we can't, it's not a secret anymore. We're all fathers now. Actually, most of the fathers are running their parenthood कि वो काम नहीं करूँ जो अब्बू ने किया था, तो फिर दोस्तियां कर रहे हैं अपने बच्चों से. Literally, we are behaving as if हमारा मॉडल ही वो है, एंटी पेरेंट मॉडल. जो मेरे पेरेंट्स थे उनका एंटी मॉडल मेरे बच्चे, वो एग्जैक्ट उल्टी स्पिन में चला रहता है बच्चा. लिटरली नानी ने जो गलतियां की हैं वो अम्मी नहीं कर रही, नई गलतियां कर रही हैं. नानी ने कुछ अच्छा भी किया था नहीं सब, क्योंकि मुझे तो बच्चों से टॉर्चर मिला है. मियाँ बीवी एक दूसरे को अपनी ट्रॉमास बताते रहते हैं पहले शादी के 3 साल. बच्चे पैदा होने से फौरन पहले बच्चा ना पैदा होने की गारंटियां. शोर एक भी नहीं कहता बेटा इतने ट्रॉमा थे तो शादी क्यों की थी, और अगर कर ली थी तो तुम बच्चे क्यों पैदा करने चाह रही हो फिर. और ना बीवी शोर से पूछती है कि आप तो डैमेज्ड हैं. It's like, I don't want you to be a father to all of my children. She can't say that, right? But so she's like, okay, shock absorbers only. Next thing, critical thinking के ऊपर ना मैंने, I want to talk to this child. Fatma, come here. Fatma is what, 14 now? Fatma is my daughter, my friend, my best friend's daughter, so my daughter. Fatma, बैठे ना. She's one of those kids who's like the closest to me, so I asked her, okay, I want to talk to her in front of everyone. Okay. Since we're talking about critical thinking, so I wanted to. So kids should know how to think critically. Yeah, Fatma? Yeah. So Fatma, how old are you now?
14.
I need a microphone for her. This is very imperative. Okay. Fatma, what's your full name? It's not on. The microphone is not working.
Fatma bint Muhammad.
See, amazing. See, now you know why I get excited whenever I talk to her, because her name is Fatima bint Muhammad. Imagine when his father, when you were born, when your father told me he's named you Fatima. So I said, because his name is Muhammad Mohsin Ali Khan. So I said, don't tell me you're going to call her Fatima Mohsin. He said, no. I said, okay, hold on. Did you do what you did? He said, yeah. I called her Fatima bint Muhammad, because that's like the natural name for the child. So her actual name became a story for me. So Fatima, how are you?
I'm well.
You're well?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, this happened in Pakistan, long time ago. So Fatima, are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
Are you in any pressure?
No.
Did you have breakfast?
Yes,
you eat?
I did. I had breakfast.
What did you eat?
I had a hash brown.
Hash brown?
Yeah.
Okay. Fatma, what is herd immunity?
Herd immunity is when one person in a community becomes immune to something. Like, for example, in COVID, one person got...
Be a little louder. The mic is not that good.
One person, for example, in a community got COVID, and they become immune to COVID. And then when it's...
So now they're not going to get COVID.
They're not going to get COVID.
So they're reckless.
Yeah.
Because they're immune.
Yeah. So when people around them got COVID, they also became immune, and the entire herd became immune to COVID.
Now, Fatma, tell me something. At 14, do you know the law in Australia about how they electrocute the chicken?
I've heard of it. Like they electrocute the chicken before it goes to the slaughterhouses, so it's already
Slaughter.
dead.
You
So
slaughter.
it's already
Slaughter is
dead.
for live animals. You slaughter a live animal. You don't slaughter a dead animal.
So it's already dead when it goes there.
Yeah. So when it's an animal is already dead, what do you call that in Islam?
Not hand slaughter. It's.
Can you eat it?
No, you can't.
You can't? Oh my God. Fatima bint Muhammad, are you telling me that like Denmark or Canada, Australia has the same law?
Yes.
So you at 14 had heard about it? And you
Yeah.
at 45 years of Australia didn't? See the slide behind you? That slide behind you is of mental capital. It translates into political capital. But it stems from the moral capital. Okay? So, Fatima, what do you mean hurt can... Let me get this straight, because most of the people don't know what we're talking about, right? Let's look into the camera. Because you're going to address all the overseas Muslims. Because except for 3 countries, all the Western countries have this law. And these 3 countries are going to get this law. But Australia already had this law. So, are you telling me all that chicken on those conveyor belts is really dead before they just try and fake a slaughter? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar.
Yes, I am.
Oh my God! Not necessarily dead, more probably dead, not necessarily dead. You know what I'm really mad at? I'm mad at the fact that when I came to Australia, the first thing everybody said was, now we're going to teach you halal. Come, let's eat. And for 5 days, I ate. Till I met Fatma bint Muhammad. Fatma, tell me, herd immunity. Somewhere, somebody started this thing, and now everybody's immune to this. What is this problem?
When everyone becomes immune to this, they stop paying attention to like the actual problem.
So is this a herd immunity for
A philosophy.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
So it's a philosophical dissonance. Look at him. Everyone's thinking the same thing. How dare you? How dare you? So somebody started this, a rumor. It's a rumor. And everybody played on that rumor. It's like, yeah, halal hi hoga bhai. Mere pe thodi sawal hai, usne bola halal hai. Hai na? That's the play. That's the play. What's the argument against this play? If somebody says ye halal hai, to mere se to sawal nahi hona chahiye na?
Yeah, that's the argument.
That is the argument. And the counter argument is, if you didn't read the law of Australia, then that's the question. That you have 2 questions to answer in the court of Allah. आपको पहले तो वो पता होना चाहिए था, जिसने कहा था हलाल है उसको बता दीजिए था, ओ मियाँ, उस लॉ के अंदर तो कुछ चीज हलाल हो ही नहीं सकती. आपने उसकी बात मान ली जिसने कहा उस बेचारे को तो पता भी नहीं लॉ का, आपको तो लॉ का पता है. You see the problem? I'm not here to corrupt your next dinner. वो तो गया, inshallah. I'm here to tell you what critical thinking looks like. And that's why most people don't do critical thinking. So Fatma, what do you have to say about this?
I say that we shouldn't be immune to this philosophy because it makes us like not question makes us forget to question what's actually right and what's wrong in the bigger picture.
So who do you blame?
I blame whoever spread the rumor and told everyone to stop questioning it, and ourselves for believing it.
Yes, you can't blame anybody else. You have to, you're 14 now, okay? You can, now at 14, you cannot blame anybody. As a Muslim, there is nobody you can blame, ever. Okay? You are, instead of blaming, you have to take a stance and say, you know what? Today, Fatima bint Muhammad is not herd immune. From now on, I am not going to live into the, or walk through the fractures of your philosophy, my elders. Because I'm sorry, Fatima, I did fracture your philosophy. I am your elders. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So unless you take a stance, no one else will. Because they have this thing called momentum. You do not have that right now. What you have is mind, heart, okay?
All right.
Openness. We're going to actually feel bad for a loss of so many years. I can't just waste those. If I'm wrong in all of those years, then I'm a nothing. So just to make that fake esteem, I keep doing what I'm doing. I just can't accept that all of those years were just wasted. So, Fatma, thank you so much. I would wish you would keep sitting here because I want everyone to know that this is that easy. It is that easy. Mental capital starts at this age, ends at this age, starts at this age, and means कुछ नहीं हो सकता मेरा अब. Time पे नहीं start हुआ मेरे ऊपर machine. Make sure our kids are not distracted. Every single chance of distraction पे हम बच्चे पाल रहे हैं. बच्चे को distract करने का नाम देसी आंटी, अम्मी. नहीं मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं, सीरियस. रो रहा है, डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो, सवाल डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो. सिर्फ दो काम है आंटी के, खाना खाया कपड़े कैसे हैं, खाना खाया कपड़े कैसे हैं. अम्मी मैं जहाज पे जा रहा हूं, बेटा खाना खाया है. लिटरली इमेजिन दैट. अम्मी का एक ही काम है डिस्ट्रैक्शन. वहां भी करें, डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो, डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो. वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दे नॉट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. हाउ? हर फैसिलिटी देनी है आपने. ऑस्ट्रेलिया आए हैं, फायदा उठाएं. अब ऑस्ट्रेलिया में वो काम है जो कि पाकिस्तान में नहीं हो सकते. बच्चों का IQ एटलीस्ट 20-20 पॉइंट्स बढ़ना चाहिए फर्स्ट 12 ईयर्स के अंदर. दैट्स व्हाट मेंटल कैपिटल इज. एंड इफ यू हैव द राइट फिलॉसफी एंड चाइल्ड हैज द राइट IQ, दो स्टेप्स इंस्टेंटली आपने स्टेप ले लिए. अगर चाइल्ड IQ नहीं है तो फिर आई एम सॉरी, वो क्या करेगा? वो जो आप कर रहे हैं वो करेगा, जो आप कह रहे हैं वो सुनेगा. इसके अलावा वो कुछ ऐड ऑन नहीं कर सकता उसमें, और वो भी ज्यादा पूरा तो नहीं कर सकेगा. वी आर लेसर वर्जन्स ऑफ आवर फादर्स, वी ऑल नो दैट. ओके, अनलेस वी प्रोपेल देम हायर बाय रेजिंग देयर IQ. दूसरा, पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस साल का बच्चा स्टार्ट कर सकता है. पकड़ के रखें हम. पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल फातिमा बिन्त मोहम्मद कैसे करेगी? लुक एट दिस. मेक श्योर योर चिल्ड्रन आर कनेक्टेड टुगेदर. आप लोग अपने बच्चे आपस में कनेक्ट करेंगे मजबूरन, इसलिए उर्दू में बोल रहा हूं ये. All the community has to come together. मैं बताता हूं उसकी साइंस अल्लाह ने और साइंस दोनों ने बता दी. क्या है? ये है this political capital naturally translates into moral capital. If you're all coming together, सब बच्चों की मोरालिटी का फाइबर ऊपर जा रहा है. अकेले अकेले ना आपके बच्चे मोरली हाई हो सकते हैं. Because morality is the accumulative sum of the thresholds of the group you live in. Morality, the hold on morality, the justification of sin or not, or doing the right thing, all of this is an accumulative sum of the average of the people that I'm hanging out with, being with. So you will see that your best friends all of a sudden are setting the thresholds of right and wrong for your kids as well. Your kids are going to justify the same sins your best friend does. So the more people coming together, the more stronger, deeper, grounded principled बच्चे होने. That's why Muslims compromise on everything, because we're not coming in as a community. Ironically, पाकिस्तान में एक ऐसा लफ्ज़ बोला जाता है, ironically, जो बोला नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि वो छोटा सा क्लस्टर, मगर बोला जाता है, बड़ा काम का लफ्ज़ है. वो कहते हैं ख़ानदानी बंदा है, ख़ानदानी औरत है, ख़ानदानी मर्द है. तो वो क्या नहीं करेगा? ख़ानदानी का मतलब क्या लेते हो? छोटी हरकतें नहीं करेगा. प्रेडिक्टेबल है, ये कंसिस्टेंट होगा. खानदानों में पला बड़ा है, इसको तौर अतवार का, रख रखाव का, लोगों की एम्पथाइज करना आता होगा, जस्टिस की सेंस होगी इसके अंदर. खानदानी आदमी का मतलब है अकेले सोलो नहीं पड़ा. We get that psychology from that, and that's by the way true. खानदानी लोग ज़र्फ के ज़रा बड़े हो चुके, because they are exposed, बचपन से ट्रेन हुए होते हैं, हर तरह की सिचुएशंस देखी हुई होती है उन्होंने. खानदानी होने के फायदे होते हैं, बड़े खानदानों के बड़े फायदे. बड़े का मतलब है तादाद में बड़े, बड़े छोटे कुछ नहीं होता. That's what I'm saying, that's what psychology says. Unless you come together in Melbourne, everybody gets connected at some forum, some town hall, some community centers. But we have to meet. Why? Because our kids need to meet. Our kids need to know that they're all in the same community, they're growing and harboring each other, brewing each other's morality. Because I'll tell you, I'm so sorry, but Australia is not going to teach them Islamic morality. I'm sorry. Because a million times Quran counters all of those other philosophies when it goes through the veins of these systems. You need a Muslim woman, and all women know that. You need a Muslim women, group of women, to feel better and stronger inside your hijabs. That's how it is. You take that first step as a man to not go into mortgage, to not go into that interest game. You need some power from the other people. Like, you know what? We're doing it. Like, we're living around it and not into it. We're living against it. We can survive, you can survive too. That's the power of community coming together. And I'll tell you a case study in America. Most overseas Muslim Pakistanis in America, they don't live together. They live in isolations, very small clusters. Don't give me Dallas case studies. That's very recent. Most of the American Muslims are scattered. And now you can see, compare whatever their problems are domestically, their kids, their children, versus English Muslims, and you'll find out a million times difference. In England, Muslims clusters are bigger. They live in communities. Their general problems are way, way less in terms of the gap between parents and kids, in the gap between value systems. I'm not saying Muslim kids in England are like, oh my God, mu'mineen. What I'm saying is, और philosophy का फर्क तो वहाँ पे भी आ गया ना, वो भी single ही खेल रहे हैं as a Muslim. But in America and in England, that's why when I see that big difference, I'm not going to say Scandinavia, because Scandinavian migration is a little, well, not that recent, but less older than English. But Scandinavian Muslims are living in a certain tight-knit community. Scandinavian Muslims do that. That's beautiful. They started like this. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. But in Australia, I do not know. Only you can tell me. I only know a few people in Australia. They are connected to each other, but that's the only small little group that they're connected with. I do not think that these 500 people are well aware of each other and know each other by face or by wherever you're from, or by kids. If you do not know each other by their kids, you don't know him at all. You need to know each other through his kids, so that you can get your kids and his kids together and everybody coming together. This is the only way these kids are going to gain the confidence in Australia as aliens coming in, that, you know what, I want to say something in the next speech class. And I want to say something I believe in. Because I have 1,000 people in my town hall who appreciated this speech. I am not shivering with tremors because I am a single alien cell amongst all of you white folks or different philosophy folks. Okay? That's how you give confidence to your kids to become more active in political scenarios and social systems. That's how stronger kids grow into. And that's another case study for English Muslims. English Muslims are a million times more into political arenas. They speak well, they represent well, they're way more confident in their representation of Islam. How did that happen? Of course they happened because they were backed up by their clusters. And I do not know, but you should start coming together for the sake of the children, for the sake of bringing that sort of a solution for your kids' political acumen. The accumulative moral strength of the group determines the moral base. Morals accumulative ही होते हैं. अकेले बंदे की मोरालिटी कभी भी नहीं रिफ्लेक्ट करेगी बच्चे पे. ग्रुप की मोरालिटी बच्चे पे रिफ्लेक्ट करेगी. अदरवाइज एवरी मोमिन वुड हैव अ मोमिन सन और अ डॉटर. But every moment is complaining that, you know what, गलत कंपनी में मेरा बच्चा. Company means group. Okay, so all of you coming together, वैसे भी पाकिस्तानियों को एक दूसरे को देख के अच्छा दिखाने का बहुत ज़बरदस्त सिंड्रोम है, फ़ायदा उठाए उसका. We show our best selves. Everybody is a मोमिन in front of each other. तो बच्चे कहते हैं सारे ही मोमिनीन हैं. वो तो गाड़ी में बैठ के चलता आई हुई थी ना, देखा दोबारा आई हुई और गीबत शुरू. मगर सामने सामने बच्चे तो नहीं करते ना गीबत, बच्चे तो नहीं करते. So बच्चे she's not a child. I'm not going to call this adult functioning brain of an Islamic capital, inshallah, a child. I'm not going to disrespect that. I'm talking about children 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is Fatima bint Muhammad. Inshallah, you're going to hear this word echoing through Australia, in Scandinavia, inshallah. Saying the right things at the right time in the perfect, most eloquent expressions. Especially about things that matter. Things that matter to my daughters, your daughters. There has to be preparation. और अगर आपको मेरे बच्चे का पता ही नहीं, मेरी बच्ची का नाम फातिमा बिन्त मोहम्मद, मेरी क्या मदद करेंगे आप? इसकी डेवलपमेंट में आप मेरी मदद कैसे करेंगे? You need to know who I am, representing and what am I developing in my house. If you know that, I'm going to help you. You're going to help me, you're going to help her. वरना तो क्या आंख ओझल पहाड़ ओझल. बच्ची मैंने छुपाई हुई आप सबसे, तो बच्ची की खाप हेल्प करनी है आपने. मेरा बेटा किसी को पता ही नहीं है क्या कर रहा है, किस एज का है, आपने क्या क्या कर लेना उसका. To learn Quran and Hadith? No, I just started with that. No, you can have any family. कैपिटल आपने पॉलिटिकल लेना है तो फिर तो मुस्लिम से कम ही यू से ज़्यादा मिल जाएगा आपको. वो तो आपने देखने के लिए. मगर आप मोरल कैपिटल की बात कर रहा हूँ. मोरल कैपिटल कैसे अब गैर मुस्लिम से, मैं क्या कहूँ. एक बंदे देखिए, मैं आपको अपनी मिसाल देता हूँ. मैं अमेरिका में पला बड़ा हूँ at very young age, 2.5 years, since 7 and 8. And my father gave me an advice. I'm not saying, oh, my father gave me an advice. What I'm saying is common sense. My father said, listen to me. Well, they were not many Muslims in Chicago at that time. And he said, listen, a Muslim friend can give you a lot of damage and a lot of things, but it's not going to give you, take you out of Islam. And a non-Muslim friend is going to give you a lot of prosperity, but it's not going to give you Islam. Quran नहीं सिखाने वाला उसने. So दोनों चीज़ें अपने अपने हैयत में महसूस कर, और हमेशा मुसलमान दोस्त ज़्यादा रखी ताकि तुझे कुरान का कुछ ना कुछ मिलता रहे, इस्लाम का कुछ ना कुछ, नबी इस्लाम की याद आती रहे. Now my Peter friend is not going to teach me Muhammad or Ali or Umar. I'm not saying, oh, run away from the Christian. Are you kidding me? But I'm saying the opposite. What I'm saying is, आप as a community पूरे ऑस्ट्रेलिया को शर्मा सकते हैं. मैं अभी आपको क्या कह रहा हूं, आप अगर सबसे स्ट्रॉन्ग फाइनेंशियल ऑस्ट्रेलियन ना बन रहे तो आप तो कैंसर हैं. You should be making money. You should be politically member of parliament. कितने पाकिस्तानी ऑस्ट्रेलिया, पाकिस्तानी डिसेंट के ऑस्ट्रेलिया में? एक बड़ा देखें ना. Listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying yourself. I need Fatimas in the parliament. आप खुद सोचे 35 तक पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन सेनेट में होते अभी, तो हो सकता था कुछ फलस्तीन के इसराइल की जरूरत होनी थी. 35 छोड़े 6 होते. समझ रहे? आपको कब समझ आ, मैं आपको बता, आई नीड योर प्रॉस्पेरिटी. माई किड्स नीड यू टू प्रॉस्पर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया. पैसे कैसे बनते हैं? पैसे कॉम्पिटेंट होके बनते हैं, बस कोई और फार्मूला नहीं। जिस काम में डाला हुआ है उसमें कॉम्पिटेंट होते हैं। इफ यू नॉट द मोस्ट कॉम्पिटेंट पर्सन इन द इंडस्ट्री, आई एम सॉरी, यू डोंट इवन हैव अ करियर, यू आर सर्वाइविंग अ जॉब। The difference between job and a career is that in a career you do not need to introduce yourself, or as your career is the authentic reputation of the authenticity of your skill. If you do not have a reputation, you do not have a career.
Sir, can you expect
Parliament?
Okay, I'm going to take that question. The Prophet ﷺ established the system. He established the system. Ali bin Abi Talib held office. Umar ibn Khattab held office. So why are you saying we shouldn't be going into the... because we do not have a center. Understand, if we had a center, तो फिर तो आपका ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहना ही हराम है। यू नो द रूलिंग, राइट? अगर हमारा वर्किंग सेंटर होता है इस्लाम का, तो नबी इस्लाम ने इरशाद फरमाया कि अगर आपकी जान को खतरा नहीं है और इज्जत को खतरा नहीं है, और फिर भी आप दारुल कुफर में पैसे से इन्वेस्ट करते रहते रहो पैसे, तो फिर क़यामत वाले दिन मेरे सामने ना आना। ये मुस्तनद हदीस सुना रहा हूँ, मगर हमारा तो सेंटर ही नहीं है। ये हदीस हम पे अप्लाई इसलिए नहीं हो रही कि वो दारुल इस्लाम किधर जाए। पाकिस्तान, listen to me. This is the Pakistan's category, officially on Islamic terminology बता रहा हूँ, पब्लिक में बता रहा हूँ, कैमरे में बता रहा हूँ। दारुल इस्लाम, दारुल कुफर, दारुल निफाक, ये मेरा मैं तो मुफ्ती नहीं हूँ ना, मुफ्तियान से पूछा करें। पाकिस्तान डिटर्मिन दारुल निफाक है। ओके, पाकिस्तान का कसूर नहीं है, बड़े मुल्क हैं ऐसे। और हम सेंगे ये अपने ऊपर ये वाला फतवा ना लगा देना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहना हराम। मुझे पता है सेंटर एग्जिस्ट करता है, तो हर मुसलमान सेंटर को फाइनेंस करेगा, सेंटर को स्ट्रॉन्ग करेगा, सेंटर के लिए काम मेहनत करेगा, बाहर भी आ सकता है वो उसी की सेंटर के काम के लिए जाके। दे लाइक मदर रशियन न्यू द मॉडल, ओके। मगर अगर सेंटर ही नहीं है तो फिर जबरदस्ती ना अपने फतवे लें, ओ यहाँ पे हम क्या करें, इधर और किधर जाएंगे। एक्चुअली यू आर वे मोर इफेक्टिव टू बिल्ड अ सेंटर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, नॉट सेंटर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यू बीइंग इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, टू बिल्ड अ सेंटर इन पाकिस्तान और वेरेवर, जहाँ पे भी हैं आप पाकिस्तानी के लिए कहूँगा, आप पाकिस्तानी ज़्यादातर बैठे हुए हैं। अदरवाइज आप पाकिस्तान में रह के तो पाकिस्तान को सेंटर नहीं बना सक रहे। वी नीड 4 कैपिटल्स पाकिस्तानी लोकल। मैं आपको कैसे खुश होकर नहीं बता रहा हूं, मैं 5 साल से हर यूनिवर्सिटी को, आई बीन इन ऑल स्कूल्स, ऑल कॉलेजेस, ऑल यूनिवर्सिटीज। आई एम नॉट अ यूट्यूबर, आई गो टू एवरी सिंगल इंस्टीट्यूट। ऑल दीज 4 थिंग्स आर sucked out of the Pakistani youth. They have zero acumen on what's going on in the world. They cannot do anything about it. They don't even know. They have been capped out of their high IQs, low IQ questions, low IQ developments. Politically zero, डरे हुए बैठे हैं। पाकिस्तान के लड़के लड़कियां कॉलेज स्कूल्स में they're handicapped, हाथ भी काट दिए गए, पैर भी काट दिए गए। आप अपने बच्चों को इन 4 पिलर्स के ऊपर प्रॉस्पर करवाएं। ये मेरी भी जरूरत है, पाकिस्तान की भी जरूरत है, इस्लाम की भी जरूरत है कि आप स्ट्रॉन्ग, कवी मोमिन ज़ईफ मोमिन से बेहतर है। आपके बच्चों के ऊपर ज्यादा जिम्मेदारी आपके ऊपर। क्या ऑस्ट्रेलिया आने का फायदा क्या उठाया? गोरा कर दिया बच्चा? नो, दैट्स नॉट व्हाई यू केम हियर। यू केम हियर पॉलिटिकली, फाइनेंशियली, मेंटली एंड सबसे बड़ी बात मोरली तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया वैसे ही पाकिस्तान से आगे था, इसमें कोई कंपैरिजन तो नहीं है। इसलिए उर्दू में बता रहा हूं, मोरल कैपिटल ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया इज वे बेटर देन पाकिस्तान। हम आपस में तो झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे ना, हमें तो पता है। तो मोरल कैपिटल यहां से नहीं लेना, यहां पे तो हर एक को वैसे ही मिल जाता है। आपने पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल भी लेना है, फाइनेंशियल कैपिटल भी। मैंने आपसे कहा ना, बिकम स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑस्ट्रेलियंस, मुस्लिम शुड बी द रिचेस्ट ऑस्ट्रेलियंस, मुस्लिम शुड बी द पॉलिटिकली द मोस्ट इफेक्टिव ऑस्ट्रेलियंस। हियर पर कैसे होगा? तुक्के पे होता है? नो, तुक्के पे नहीं होता। अभी आपको केस स्टडी बताइए। मिन्नतें लगती हैं, माँ बाप लगते हैं, सदियां, एटलीस्ट डेकेड्स लगते हैं। ऐसे फातिमा बिनते मोहम्मद 14 साल की हुई है, 24 साल की अगर ये परफॉर्म ना करी हुई तो सॉरी, आई एम गोना टॉक टू हर फादर कि क्या कर रहा था तू, लाइक व्हाट वर यू थिंकिंग। ये और कौन से एसेट देंगे अल्लाह आपसे? अल्लाह आपको ऐसे तो नहीं खलीफातुल अर्द कर दिया हुआ, ये एसेट्स दिए हैं आपको। और कौन खिलाफत ले? जिन्ना के खिलाफत करेंगे हमारी? ओनली वही लोग खिलाफत कर रहे हैं हमारे ऊपर जिनके माँ बाप ने उनको ताकत दी और वो IQ में भी बढ़ गए, फाइनेंसिस में भी पढ़ गए और पॉलिटिक्स में पढ़ गए, उन्होंने आके हमें ताबे कर लिया, और उन्हें कोई रॉकेट साइंस तो नहीं है।
Sir, from social or individual, maybe the secretary part of it, can you expect an army who's paying the monthly mortgages or eating electric?
Louder, please, थोड़ा सा ऊंचा बोलिए।
Yeah, this question is like, just maybe confused as well, trying to understand, especially living in Australia. Can you expect an army who's paying monthly mortgages or eating electric pudding, maybe chicken biryani, and expect to build up that moral capital within their
ओके, ये शैतान की एक साजिश आएगी, हम सब पे आएगी, आप पे भी मेरे पे भी, कि चूंकि मैं तो हराम कुकड़ी खा रहा हूं तो मैंने क्या पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल, तो ये वो दोनों का आपस में वो वाला ताल्लुक नहीं जो हमने सुपरस्टिशियस इस्लाम में बना लिया। ओके, ये कहना बंद करें क्योंकि और बड़े असरात आएंगे बच्चों पे भी। मगर पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल तो वो हराम सूअर खा खा के पार्लियामेंट में बैठे हुए हैं, हम हराम मुर्गी खा के नहीं जा सकते। क्या हो गया आपको? नहीं, थोड़ा सा दोबारा बोले। या देखिए, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का तो मैं ज़्यादा सैंपल मेरे पास नहीं है, बट अमेरिका में और इंग्लैंड में इसके सैंपल है मेरे पास, कनाडा का सैंपल है। वहाँ पे आप ये वाली मशीन, ये मशीन है ना, आप गौर से सुन लें, ये देखें, ये ब्लू ये जो सर्कल्स है, ये गौर सुन, ये CDI क्वेश्चंस देखें मैंने क्या बनाए हुए। CDI क्वेश्चंस करंट डेफिनेशन ऑफ इस्लाम से माइग्रेट करेंगे तभी बनेंगे। करंट डेफिनेशन ऑफ इस्लाम पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल को तो मानती नहीं है, कहती है ओ भाई हमारा काम तज़किया करना है नफ्स का, बस ये सियासत काम सीजर्स का है, सीजर्स का। ये करंट, आई स्वेयर टू यू, करंट उलमा कराम के फतवे हैं इसके ऊपर अभी भी, कि मुसलमान का काम ये नहीं है। सोचें, इकबाल को चाटते रहते हैं, जब इकबाल की ये वाली शायरी आती है तो साइड पे हो जाते हैं। ठीक है, तो पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल तो नहीं बन सकता सिवाय ओवरसीज मुस्लिम का। ठीक है, पाकिस्तान में नहीं बन सकता, मुसलमान भी हों और पॉलिटिकली इन्वॉल्व भी हों। ठीक है, डोंट टॉक अबाउट जमात इस्लामी नाउ, दैट्स एन एक्सेप्शन, मैं बताऊंगा उन्होंने क्या गलती की हुई। सो करंट डेफिनेशन इस्लाम पे पॉलिटिकल क्वेश्चन नीचे जाएगा आपका। सो योर डॉटर इज गोइंग टू बी कंफ्यूज कि मैं अच्छी मुसलमान कैसे बन लूं, मैं तो पॉलिटिक्स में आ गई हूं। कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस। ओके, हालांकि अच्छी मुसलमान होने का सबूत ही ये था, सबूत कि पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव हो गई बच्ची। ये सबूत, अगर आप पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव नहीं है तो इस्लाम में कुछ नहीं। आम बंदा मुसलमान नहीं हो सकता, आम आदमी इस मुसलमान नहीं है। आप एक सहाबी का नाम बताएं जो पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव नहीं थे, बताएं। जिन सहाबा के आपको नाम पता है वो तो खैर पॉलिटिकली उनकी जो डेली लाइफ में पॉलिटिकल कॉन्क्वेस्ट थी। आप वैसे एक सहाबी का नाम बता दें जो पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव नहीं। मैं बताता हूं, अल्लाह ने ग़ज़वा तबूक पे ये लकीर खुद अल्लाह ने खींच दी। 3 सहाबा जा नहीं सके तो अल्लाह ताला ने उनसे कहा कि तुमने क्या सोच लिया है कि मुसलमान की अलग से कोई आर्मी होती है? हर मुसलमान पावर के अंदर पूरी तरह इन्वॉल्व होता है, हर मुसलमान आर्मी में है। पता है ना आपको ग़ज़वा तबूक का 3 सहाबा नहीं गए थे, पता है ना आपको उनके ऊपर क्या हुआ था? फिर पता है ना, हम सबको पता है। सो मुसलमान हैं और आप पॉलिटिकली एक्टिव नहीं है, सॉरी आपका इस्लाम से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं। आप फिर क्या, आप बुद्ध मत में जाते हैं, अंजीर के दरख्त पकड़ते हैं, मौसम भी अच्छा है और बहुत ही खूबसूरत मुराकबे होते हैं मुसलमानों के। क्यों? कोई टेंशन ही नहीं। किसने निकाली है टेंशन? हमारे ज़हन से स्ट्रेस कौन निकाल जाता है? हमें रिलैक्स, हम इस तकलीफ में मुतमईन कैसे हैं? इकबाल ने कहा था ना, मुझे ये मसला नहीं है कि आप गुलामी में हैं, मुझे मसला है कि आप गुलामी में खुश हैं। ये कैसे हो गया? ये कौन कर गया आपसे? ये मैं कह रहा हूं, इस बच्ची को खुश नहीं होने देना मैंने गुलामी में। ये मेरी बेटी है, ये बेशक तड़पती भी 30 साल गुजारेगी, 60 साल गुजारेगी, मगर खुश नहीं होगी गुलामी में। हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हैप्पीनेस क्वेश्चन चेज कर रहे हैं। अब करंट डेफिनेशन इस्लाम में पॉलिटिक्स तो है नहीं, चलो इसको तो जीरो कर देते हैं। फाइनेंशियल कैपिटल हो, नहीं 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 नहीं, जो भी बंदा आपको फाइनेंशियली कवी होने से इस्लामिकली एनफोर्स नहीं कर रहा, वो इस्लाम के और आपके ज़हन में पैरेलल दीवारें बना रहा है कि मैं पैसे तो बना रहा हूं मगर ये अल्लाह को पसंद नहीं है। अगर आप पैसे बना रहे हैं और आप वाकई में सेंटर फिलॉसफी के ऊपर नहीं है कि जहां मैंने सेंटर बनाना है तो फिर वाकई आप कैंसर हैं, आप कारून हैं। मगर आपका पर्पस ये है कि मैंने पैसे उधर लगाने हैं, मैंने माय रिलीजन नीड्स मनी, तो फिर आप अगर पैसे नहीं बना रहे तो आप कैंसर हैं। समझ गए ना फर्क? बगैर पर्पस के पैसे आ गए तो आप एक कैंसर हैं, पर्पस के बाद भी पैसे ना आए तब भी आप कैंसर हैं। आपका बोझ उठाना पड़ेगा हमें, because we are after all in a community. Okay, you need to understand, I need competent, able, strong, everybody does. अल्लाह ताला ने क्या कहा है यहां पे, मैं आपको वो आयत का वो वाला मतलब बताऊं जो करंट स्कॉलरशिप लेती है कि ना खुदा ने आज तक उस कौम की हालत नहीं बदली, ना हो इसको ख्याल खुद अपनी हालत के बदलने का। भाई तुम खुद ही नहीं पैरों पे खड़ा हो रहे हो, अल्लाह क्यों कहते हो कि मदद आएगी? ओके, गौर से समझें इस बात को कि साहबा को अल्लाह की मदद जमीन पे नजर आती थी। हज़रत नौमान झंडा लेके खड़े में, साहबी पीछे से कह रहे हैं हुक्म दे, माज़तंतज़िर, किस बात का वेट कर रहा है? एंड यू नो व्हाट ही सेड, ला रहा औनिल्लाह, मुझे तो अल्लाह की मदद की हवाएं नजर ही नहीं आ रही। वो 100 कदम पे आगे रोमी तब के जाकर उन्होंने कहा नजर आ गई। ये इतनी बड़ी ताकत है, मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करूंगा, आप कहेंगे सारी ये क्या बातें कर दी आपने जाते जाते। और अल्लाह की मदद की हवाएं सहाबा को नजर नहीं आती थी, खाली सबको नजर आती थी। अबू सुफियान मुसलमान नहीं, सिर्फ उसने कहा था जिनको तो फरिश्ते आ गए, भागो इधर से, आसमान से फरिश्ते आना शुरू हो गए, और सब ने देखे थे वो फरिश्ते, सबको नजर आती हैं। अगर आपको पर्पस क्लियर है, अल्लाह ताला ने कहा अगर आप इसलिए आ गए, हकम का लफ्ज इस्तेमाल किए, मैंने वो आयतें नहीं डाले भी इधर, हकम, अगर आपने हकम का मतलब होता है सिस्टम, हकम का मतलब जस्टिस सिस्टम। ओके, अगर वो सिस्टम आपने अपने हाथ में रख लिया, क्योंकि मैंने तो मूसा से भी कहा था, ये आज सुना रहा हूं, मूसा से भी कहा था, ईसा से भी कहा था, और जो अब आप तुमसे कह रहा हूं, अगर तुमने ये सिस्टम ना इंप्लीमेंट किया तो फिर तो काफिर हो या फासिक हो, दूसरी कोई चॉइस नहीं है तुम्हारे पास। मगर अगर कर दिया तो आसमान से मदद आएगी, फौकिहिम, और नीचे से मदद निकलेगी तुम्हारे। प्रॉस्पेरिटी की बात हो रही है, अल्लाह की मदद की। ला रहा औनिल्लाह, क्यों कहता है नुमान रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु, क्यों कहते कि भाई मुझे कोई मसला है हमारे अंदर, किसी की क्लेंजिंग करो, उसको पर्पस ही क्लियर नहीं हुआ, किसी ने लड़ाई करने आए हुए हो। ये जवाब दिया था उन्होंने बाय द वे, कि अपने अपना तज़किया कर, अल्लाह के लिए आए हुए हो या किसी और कबीले के लिए आ गए हो, क्योंकि अल्लाह की मदद की दुआएं हवाएं नहीं चल रही अभी तक। ये मैं आपको इसलिए बता रहा हूँ जाते जाते, ताकि आपको पता है हवाई तो नहीं मारने, स्ट्रक्चर बना के अपने बच्चे पालने, एक दूसरे को कनेक्ट करना है। हम आप बच्चे तो नहीं रहे, मुझे अगर आपका कनेक्शन नहीं मिल रहा तो सॉरी मेरी गलती, आई नीड टू इनिशिएट इट। किधर चले गए सारे? सेशन करने आए थे सारे? नहीं, हम तो एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए इस्लाम में आए। नो, आई नीड टू टेक दैट इनिशिएटिव। मैं नहीं ले रहा तो मैं आपसे नहीं एक्सपेक्ट करता कि आप सिट अराउंड मुस्लिम, कुछ नहीं होता। और अगर मैं नहीं ले रहा तो सॉरी, फिर ये मुझे शर्मिंदा करेगी हौज़े कौसर पे, खुद तो जा रही होगी ये, और मैं बैठा हूँगा फातिमा लगाऊंगा, एंड शील बी लाइक यहाँ पे नहीं चलती अबू किसी की, या नेपोटिज्म नहीं है इस्लाम में। वहां पे तो वाकई नफसी नफसी है, यहां पे अनफुसना था, अनफुसना हम सब, वहां पे तो नफसी, वहां पे तो मां अपने बच्चे को नहीं कुछ कर सकेगी। इसलिए आपको बता रहा हूं, अभी मरे नहीं है, इसलिए पहला सवाल किया था व्हाट इज अ मुस्लिम। अब आपको सामने नजर आ रहा है दिस इज अ मुस्लिम। सॉरी, इसके अलावा इस वक्त जो इस्लाम के हालात हैं, इससे कम पे यूर नॉट अ मुस्लिम विद द फिलॉसफी। ये सबसे ऊपर देखें CDI क्वेश्चन, करंट डेफिनेशन में इस्लाम में मोरालिटी के क्वेश्चन कैप कर देते हैं वो। क्यों ना कैप करें, सिस्टम के बगैर मोरालिटी कैसे आएगी? बड़ी नेक बातें लगेंगी आपको। यूट्यूब करें, अभी नाम नहीं ले रहा, किसी एक अमेरिकन, ब्रिटिश, पाकिस्तानी, इंडियन आलिम की वीडियो निकालें और उसमें से पर्पस तलाश करें। आज का होमवर्क दे रहा हूं आपको, 10 घंटे लगाएं, हर वीडियो छान मारें, पर्पस का लफ्ज नहीं मिलेगा, और अगर लफ्ज कहीं मिल भी गया तो एंड में आगे बोलेगा मेरा इस्लाम में आने का पर्पस, और आपका भी यही है कि मैं अल्लाह से कनेक्ट हो जाऊं ट्रांसपोर्टर बीम के थ्रू, कि मैं और अल्लाह, बस बाकी सब बाढ़ में जाएंगे, मैं अल्लाह से कनेक्ट हो। ये पर्पस दिखाया आप लोगों ने। और जब आयतें निकालते हो, तफसीरें पढ़ा रहे हो कुरान की, हर रोज कोई नई तफसीर आ रही है, और मतलब आयतों की तफसीरें चल रही हैं, लेक्चर चल रहे हैं, और हर लेक्चर के अंदर क्या हो रहा है? इंडिविजुअल एड्रेस, इंडिविजुअल एड्रेस। अल्लाह ताला जब जमा का बोल रहे हैं, जमा का सीखा बोल रहा है, या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू, आमनू, कौम 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 आमनू। अल्लाह ताला ने कहा या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू आमिनू। इससे बड़ी साइकोलॉजिकल पकड़ क्या होगी? कुरान पाक की आयत में अल्लाह कह रहे हैं कि कहते हो ईमान ले, तो लेके भी तो आओ ना ईमान। खाली मानने से कुछ नहीं होगा, काम भी करना पड़ेगा। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू आमिनू। ऐसे काम नहीं होने वाला कि तुमने मान लिया, कि कह दिया कि हमने मान लिया, जन्नत इतनी सस्ती नहीं दूंगा, कुरान की आयत। सो आपकी जरूरत है किसको? मुझे जरूरत है आपकी। आई बेग ऑफ यू, मुझे आपकी सबकी जरूरत है, अकेले की नहीं। और आपको मेरी जरूरत है, मेरे बच्चों की जरूरत है। ये है वो गजा का मतलब, कि गजा वालों को हमारी किस तरह जरूरत है? हमारी क्या, हर मुसलमान की जरूरत है। मगर खैर अगर सारे नहीं आते, और पाकिस्तानियों पे 10 गुना ज्यादा सवाल है। पाकिस्तानियों को आना जरूरी है, पाकिस्तानियों को इकट्ठा होना जरूरी है। और पाकिस्तान का लोकल नहीं इकट्ठा होगा, वो मजबूर है बेचारा। आपको कैसे बताऊं? आप जाएंगे वापस तो आपको पता चलेगा, सड़क क्रॉस करेगा तो यजीदी तलवारें सर पर लटक रही। सड़क नहीं क्रॉस करता अल्लाह का नाम लेके, वो लिटरली कैन नॉट क्रॉस द स्ट्रीट। यूथ हर तरफ, कभी इधर से फंस रहा है, कभी उधर से फंस रहा है। मुझे कॉलें आ रही तो मिलने आ रहे हैं कि हम क्या करें। सर तुम यहां पे बैठ के क्या कर लोगे? क्या करो? प्रेशर ग्रुप बनाओ और मस्जिद को मोबिलाइज करो, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं होगा। बाकी लोगों ने इस्लाम से अल्लाह हाफिज कर लिया हुआ है। मस्जिद एटलीस्ट नाम तो ले रही है अल्लाह का, उसको चैनल करो कि भाई क्या अपना अपना तज़किया लगे हुए हो। और सबको बचाने के लिए सबको इकट्ठा करना जरूरी है। और मस्जिदें इकट्ठी हो गई तो गवर्नमेंट में प्रेशर है, क्योंकि उनको तो वोट चाहिए होते हैं। वो बेचारे वोट के पुजारी, उन्होंने कभी कहा भी नहीं कि वो मुसलमान है। वो मिलाद भी कराते हैं सुन्नियों के साथ, तो मुहर्रम भी करते हैं मातम शियों के साथ। उनका काम है वोट लेना। आप मस्जिद प्रेशर डालेगी तो कहेंगे यार ये तो सिस्टम बनाना पड़ेगा। और फिर शहबाज शरीफ भी कुल्ला पहन के आएगा, दुरूद शरीफ पढ़ के कहेगा वोट छोड़ दे। और इमरान खान भी ऐसी करेगा, सफ़ेद दाढ़ी। आप पहली दफ़ा इमरान खान की भी देख लेंगे और आपको पता चलेगा ये सारे बाबे थे, एवरीबॉडी। और हम इनको अपने बच्चों से रिलेट करते रहे, और हमारा बच्चा इसीलिए हमें कह रहा था यार तुम लोगों को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही। आई एम आस्किंग यू सिंपल क्वेश्चंस। यस, लास्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज। Okay, there's a thing that happens every generation, okay? Make sure you understand that. But because of YouTube and or the likes like Netflix or whatever, I know what woke is, don't worry. I'm going to give you a psychological antidote. Understand, woke is not your enemy. Okay? Woke is not your enemy. Make sure you understand that. Just like that psychology, जब आप अंग्रेजी ग्रामर में सही अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं, जान के लफ्ज़ उर्दू में बोल रहा हूँ सारे, ताकि आपकी दिमाग की उस नस पर लगे जाके। जब आप सही अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं और एक पाकिस्तानी बाहर से आता है और वो गलत अंग्रेजी बोल रहा होता है, तो आपके जहन पे क्या गुजरती है? जी, उसको डम समझते हैं आप। असल में नहीं होता वो डम, सिर्फ अंग्रेजी नहीं आती बेचारे को, डम तो नहीं। बट यू थिंक इज डम एंड यू थिंक समथिंग एल्स एज वेल। यू नो व्हाट दैट इज? वो इनकॉम्पिटेंट भी है। और आप उसको ऐसे बात करते हैं जैसे वो नौज़बिल्ला ऑटिस्टिक है। आप ऐसे बात करते हैं, भाईजान आप 1 मिनट यहाँ पे बैठ जाएं, मैं अभी वहाँ जाऊँगा, वो काउंटर पे गोरी खड़ी है ना, उसके सामने मैं कुछ बातें करूँगा, कोई गलत बातें नहीं होती इधर, ठीक है? वापस आऊँगा, आपको आपकी मदद। और वो सोच रहा था स्लो मोशन में क्यों बोल रहे हो तू? उर्दू भी बोल रहा है और स्लो मोशन में, क्योंकि आप उसको ऑटिस्टिक समझ रहे होते। आपका कसूर नहीं होता। अब क्यों बताया आपको? आपके सारे बच्चे आपको ऑटिस्टिक समझ रहे हैं। ये हो रहा है, इसको कहते हैं वोक। क्योंकि कुछ सालों के बाद YouTube ने तो बहुत तेज कर दिया, वरना हर 30 सालों में आती वाकया होता है। इंसान अपनी ग्रामर खुद क्रिएट करता है। ओके, अपने जैसों से मिलकर ग्रामर स्लैंग क्रिएट होती है, और ग्रामर और स्लैंग के थ्रू ह्यूमर क्रिएट होता है, ह्यूमर के थ्रू प्रोफाइलिंग होती है। और वो का असल मतलब यही होता है, यू आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ आवर जोन ऑफ ह्यूमर, ग्रामर, स्लैंग, एक्सप्रेशन एंड लैंग्वेज। दैट्स व्हाट वोक इज डूइंग टू अस। इट्स ओके। The only attitude you want to become woke? No, the purpose of woke is to be cool. No, let me finish this, just culminating. The purpose of woke is to be cool. So if everyone is cool, then nobody is cool, right? So you can't be woke for the sake of being woke. You need to be not woke by design and show what? Competence, because they think you're not, okay? And wits, because they think you're dumb. If you keep scoring high on that, you still are the hero of your kids. If you're not scoring high on that, especially your competence, or especially your wits, so you will not remain the hero of your children, and they will choose that next hero, which is, of course, scoring high on that woke meter.
इसी से रिलेटेड LGBTQ जो schools में यहाँ पे public schools में it has been imposed on us a lot. Even in your workplace, everyone is like they say you have to get.
Yeah, I know. मुझे ऑस्ट्रेलिया का तो नहीं पता, but
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि मैंने अगर अपने बच्चों को संभालना है, I want to tell them what is right and what is wrong. How do I do it?
You do it by two things. सबसे पहले तो अपने बच्चे का IQ बढ़ाए. Your dumbest children are going to be your finest prey to this sort of, और ये तो अभी LGBT है. Next step, incest. Okay? Make sure you know that. अभी से पहले से बता रहा हूँ. LGBT के बाद incest 2 मुल्क शुरू हो चुके हैं, बाकी उन्हें पिकअप करना है. Not a problem. LGBT के कुछ obviously मोटे low hanging fruit नुकसान है. वो तो उसी वक्त पकड़ के बता दे सबको. Okay? Now, something that LGBT, especially the gay community, is never going to tell you, which of course they cannot hide. You better know, all of you should know. Low hanging fruit बता रहा हूँ, अभी आपको solution बताता हूँ. Every LGBT, well, T ना शामिल करें, T is a different disease altogether. LGB is a sexual matter. T is not. They cling on to that so that they can get some traction. Okay? LGB is getting traction from T. Okay? Otherwise, T does not belong in LGB. And LGB requires an HIV kit. After every 90 days, they need to be tested. Everyone knows that, they just don't tell you that. Okay? Every gay has to be tested 90 days. They have to be tested 30, but it's too expensive, so they do it 90 days. Okay? They're carrying that kit in their pockets. They want to look cool, but they're all on the verge of death. HIV is incurable. Okay? Now, why I'm telling you this is so that you would take it seriously. Okay? You should take it seriously. So, whoever is trying to say, oh, Sahil Adeem ko kya pata? I am asking you a simple question. Have you been tested? If you're not tested, you're hurting your own partner in philosophy. Okay? So, everybody should know that. आपको नहीं बताते इनकी जेबों में किट्स पड़ी हुई होती. ये हर वक्त मौत को टेस्ट कर रहे होते, मैं मर तो नहीं रहा हूँ. और ये कह रहे हैं दुनिया सारी की सारी इस कम्युनिटी में आए. Can you imagine the sadness of this umbrella they're under? Look at the plight of these people. And they're just, और मुझे पता किस बात का है? एक ऐसी डेथ थ्रेट आपके सर पे हर वक्त लगी हुई है. लोगों को बुला रहे हो उसके अंदर, लोगों के बच्चों को इनवाइट कर रहे हो कि जाके मेरे बच्चे हर महीने HIV की टेस्टिंग करते रहें. ये ऐसे बेशरम किस्म के फलसफी बैठे हुए. Now, coming back to English. So, LGBT. Yeah, this has to be done in Urdu. You know the reason why. I want to talk about the Desi community here. Let's just talk about what your original question is. Your natural Australian child has enough IQ to get those arguments which you give to adults. Okay, your natural, this is not a child. She should know how to argue, and she should settle the arguments in her mind so that she can argue and present cases and save other people, that this is an intellectual matter for her. So for your kids as well, you start with the basic biology and then you go with philosophy. But ye masail, you know what, these are two-tier issues and I'm not going to mix and match. I'm going to talk to you about first AIDS, I'm going to talk to you about AIDS, and then I'm going to talk to you about cool. You want to be cool? Okay, first talk about AIDS. That's a good ladder to start with. Okay? Make sure you understand. Because if your child says that in school, police is not going to come, or child services. He's just talking about AIDS. He's not talking about Islam. You know what I'm saying? So know how to play your cards really well. And since this is a real matter, so make sure you're very active in assessing that your kids are, feel like gays or feel like lesbians or not. Because most kids feel like gays or feel like whatever the LGBT. Now, if a child is feeling like a gay or a lesbian, then you cannot refute the fact that you can refute he feels like it or not. Only he or she is going to tell me whether he or she feels like gay or not. But he or she cannot refute that he or she is a child. So if a child in Australia cannot vote or drive or drink, even if he feels like it, how is he going to define whether he's going to be a man or a woman or a gay or a lesbian? If he can't even, you don't recognize that feeling and give him a bottle of beer or whatever, or let him, or make him vote. So this is also that same child giving you the same feeling. So the weight of that feeling has absolutely no merit. Because if we were acting, or I'm talking Pakistani, if we were actually recognizing the feeling of our children, so फिर तो क्या ही बात होगी? We never recognize the feeling of our children. So make sure you understand how to put all of these in different compartments. Argument के वक्त argument, किस तरह का argument किस age में देना है वो जरूरी है. Secondly, make sure your kids are well prepared. क्योंकि biggest cause of LGBT क्या है? No, आपको पता नहीं ताकि आप नहीं बचा ले बच्चे. Number 1 cause and number 2 cause. दुनिया में LGBTQ. No. Number 2 cause peer pressure. Number 1 cause confused parents. That's it. Confused parents, corrupt, mutated psychological issues. I feel like there's a woman stuck in a man's body because there was a man's hand stuck in my face all the time, or my mommy's face. Domestic disturbance थी. हर वक्त बाप लड़ाई करता था या माँ करता था, या फिर कोई टॉक्सिक बिहेवियर से माँ बाप क्या करते हैं. माँ malicious थी, क्या फिर स्टाइलिश करती थी बच्चे को, तेरा बाप है दोनों में, और बच्चा ट्रॉमा में रहता था. He needed an escape. Most of the time in Australia or England, Canada, this is an awesome escape, okay? Because आपने उस बच्चे के साथ आइडेंटिटी खुद तोड़ी भी है, उसको तो कोई भी देगा भी नहीं. उसने तो जेंडर आइडेंटिटी तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज है, उसने तो भी बहुत बड़ी बड़ी आइडेंटिटी स्पीक करनी है, just so that he can find some escape or rescue from the daddy or the mommy or both. Okay? So bad parenting number 1 call है. Number 2 peer pressure. Parents बिल्कुल ठीक होते हैं, cool, सब कुछ बता रहे होते हैं, मगर उनको ये नहीं पता होता how to argue with the child. Arguments create करने पड़ते हैं बच्चे के सामने. उसको अगले सिनेरियो स्टोरी टेलिंग करनी पड़ती है. वो बच्चे कर रहे होते, बच्चे निकाल कर उसको बता दिया होता है, this happened. वो 6 दोस्त उसके निकलेंगे, ये तो 7वां वो खुद निकल आएगा. There is no more. You have to understand how effective the force of wrong is when more people are doing it to make it seem like right. If more people are doing wrong, all of a sudden it becomes right. बच्चे को दिमाग के ऊपर हर्ड मेंटालिटी अल्लाह रसूल की बात ज्यादा इफेक्टिव कर देता है. So know the power of fears. Understand his fears. उस एज में मॉनिटर करें. मैं तो इसलिए 7 साल से पहले बच्चे को स्कूल डाला ही खिलाफ. मालूम हुआ है ओके माँ पहले well I know okay माँ. But हम लोगों ने खुद डाले. तो फिर आप क्या करें? ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लॉ है आर्मा you can homeschool here or not. I didn't answer that question yet. Yeah, well, at least 7, 8 years back, at least. मैं लेकिन reactive study दे रहा हूँ. I should not. But अब क्या करूँ? I know the science. I'm going to give you a reactive strategy. If this spreads too much, sorry, it's your fault. That your child is going to be feeling like a whatever he's going to feel or she feel like. मैंने अभी देखे नहीं है वैसे bathrooms और gender pronoun इसका मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में देखी, but who am I? मैं 10-12 दिन का सैंपल है.
So in corporate culture, there is a gender pronoun.
अब हम सब लोग क्या करेंगे? हम आप सब लोग जितने भी लोग हमें रोकने आएंगे ना, उनके खिलाफ एक मुहिम चलाएंगे, क्योंकि वो हॉल बंद कर लो. Last question. What's that trouble? Well, I'll tell you a solution. Buy it. Oil.
Oh, okay. So we're going to be gathering there. Just take your questions. Okay. Listen, let me just take the girls' question. Boys can meet me outside. Girls' question, quick. Serious question. Hold on, please. Listen. अभी नहीं अभी सवाल सुनने अभी बैठे नहीं हैं.
Sorry, I apologize. We're actually over time already.
Listen, everybody, you can listen. क्योंकि अगर आपने जाना है इंसान अपनी बिलीफ सिस्टम को कैसे इस्तेमाल कर सकता है. अगर आप एक सेंट्रल सिस्टम के ऊपर अपने आप को सेटल नहीं करेंगे, अकेला You need people to help you with your tawheed. अल्लाह का हाथ जिस काम में कहा, अल्लाह का हाथ जमात के हाथ में. आप जब एक ग्रोह में होते हैं तो उसकी बिलीफ आपको एक फोर्स करती है कि you're not the only one. I can't, everybody, it's helping me. They're all thinking like, yes, believe it.